when the white light in the sky engulfs the planetary devastation. The deafening roar resounded at this time. Everyone, countless pairs of eyes are staring at the sky. All the ninjas were deeply shocked by the sudden Lei Ying. The most incredible thing is not the power of this blow, but the time it takes Sasuke to release this blow. Nagato's last heavenly Dao, pain, released planetary devastation, although the huge power directly moved several hills to the level. But it takes a lot of time. And what about Sasuke? The body soars into the air, and it takes only one breath to be sucked into the sky, and countless thunderbolts are instantly summoned from the void. Endless thunderpool. Immediately after, these thunderbolts are directly controlled to form a huge softball. It seemed as if a huge hole was smashed out of the sky abruptly. The falling thunder directly engulfed the planetary devastation. Moment. Even without giving people too much time to think, the huge meteorite condensed in the air was instantly disintegrated. After watching the huge meteorite in the air collapse, the huge stones kept falling. The ninjas below were a little panicked. It was only at this time that they suddenly realized that if they were hit by this group of rocks, they might not be able to survive. Quick! Dodge! Someone yelled, and others wanted to run subconsciously. But this time Sasuke raised his hand. The thunder on his body erupted again. The lightning that burst out from his body accurately hit every rock block. Crush it into smaller gravel or simply reduce it to fine powder. At this time, Sasuke, who fell in the air, seemed to be very dissatisfied. I curled my lips. Lei Ying's power is still not enough. There is no way to completely destroy the entire planetary devastation. Only most of it is destroyed, and a small part of the meteorite needs to be done by yourself. But after all, Sasuke's Thunder Ying is not really a new ninjutsu. It's just the result of changing the form by relying on the powerful lightning provided by the endless thunderpool, coupled with the lightning-style discharge. In fact, it is just a combination of the two ninjutsu of endless thunderpool and discharge. It's not a new technique. Landing. Sasuke stood up slowly. Whether it was a new ninjutsu or not, Nagato's planetary devastation was still too weak. It's enough to disintegrate with lightning style. He looked up at Tendo Pain Yahiko, who was pale in front of him. Sasuke said slowly, "Do you still want to try?" It is said that Nagato's expression is very ugly at the moment. Try? Still need to try. I merged with 8 tails to become 8 tails Jinchuriki. The power provided, plus Rinnegan still can't help he use Zebo Sasuke. It seems that as Obito said, if you want to deal with Sasuke, it will not work for one. Now Uchiha Sasuke is no longer able to deal with alone. Thinking of this, Nagato controlled Tendo Pain, staring at Sasuke in front of him. Incomparably powerful. Whether it is momentum or chakra fluctuations. All revealed a strong breath. I didn't expect. In 7 days, you have become so strong. It's hard to understand why you have become so powerful. Now Nagato has thoroughly admitted that he is not as good as Sasuke. But he also wants to know why. Why does Sasuke say that when he becomes stronger, he becomes stronger? Even Sasuke hasn't used the power of any tailed beast yet. Just relying on oneself, it is so strong. Why is this? If you must ask why, Sasuke smiled. Perhaps this is talent. Talent? Nagato froze for a moment. Talent? Indeed, Uchiha Sasuke's talent is unique in the entire ninja world. Mastered other people's secret techniques in an instant, which is similar to Sharingan, although it has a lot of openness, but the same if there is no excellent talent. It is impossible to do such a thing, but now Nagato wants to make one final attempt. Planetary devastation is useless for Sasuke, but that doesn't mean all powers are useless. At this moment, Shura Dao Pain, who was lying on the ground in the distance with only half of his body left, was opening his mouth. Amazing chakra brewing in your mouth, and this chakra is not Nagato's chakra, but chakra of the tailed beast. Chakra from 8 tails Gyuki. The red and blue chakra balls are constantly compressed. Now the chakra, which is continuously gathering, has condensed into a small purple ball. And this purple sphere is currently rapidly expanding. Sasuke felt the tailed beast chakra wave, and now the light of tailed beast bomb has bloomed. There is no way to continue hiding. Sasuke turned his head abruptly. Still not giving up. Hearing this, Nagato smiled. Uchiha Sasuke, your strength is indeed very strong, and you easily defeated my Pen 6 paths, but there is one thing you overlooked. Although losing Pen 6 paths, any loss of one will weaken my combat effectiveness, but every one pen is missing, it means that my chakra can be more concentrated on other pen's body. In other words, now all my strength is concentrated on these last 2 crippled pain. The corners of Nagato's mouth twitched slightly. Right now, 80% of my power is on this heavenly Dao Pain, and the remaining 20% is combined with the tailed beast bomb Talking about Tiando Pain, who has only one arm left, raised his hand to Sasuke. Double attack of Shinra Tenji and tailed beast bomb. This is my strongest blow. Uchiha Sasuke, can you handle it now? Although Sasuke was not caught in the middle of two attacks, but with one left and one right attack, if Sasuke absorbs the tailed beast bomb with the sealing technique, then the impact of Shenluo Tianzhong will make Sasuke be hit. Two forces were brewing at the same time. A dark light flickered in Sasuke's eyes. At this moment, all the ninjas on the battlefield are looking at the tailed beast bomb whose energy fluctuation is getting stronger and stronger. This guy has only half of his body left and can release the tailed beast bomb. What kind of tenacious vitality is this? No. Not good. The attack direction of this tailed beast bomb, once launched, even we will be affected by it. Kakashi suddenly looked back at the group of ninjas. Hurry up, everyone, avoid the attack range of the tailed beast bomb. If you don't hurry up, you will die. In the direction of the Ninja United Army, there are many wood-style soldiers of Sasuke. It seems that Nagato's target is not only himself, but also his wood-style soldiers, as well as the ninjas of the Ninja United Army. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone. The impact direction of Shinra Tenseki corresponds to the White Zetsu army. Although Shinra Tenseki is powerful, the distance and range Nagato can easily control. Don't worry about hurting your own people. Very nice idea. Is it the double attack of tailed beast bomb and Shenluo Tianzhong? Sasuke lowered his head slowly, and this instant Nagato's chakra has completed the savings. Keep your eyes on Sasuke. At this moment, the tailed beast bomb exploded directly, and a strong light suddenly lit up to illuminate half of the battlefield. At the same time, veins popped up on Nagato's head. Shinra Tianzhong. Boom boom boom. The ground was directly crushed by the tyrannical force. Moment. The ground was broken instantly by the tyrannical impact, and the ground visible to the naked eye seemed to be crazily crushed by some invisible force. Wherever it passed, the ground seemed to have peeled off a layer of skin for no reason. And the depth is a full 3 or 4 meters. At this depth, it takes a lot of strength to advance a few meters, let alone a sweep. It swept a distance of more than 10 meters in an instant, and roared toward Sasuke. All the ninjas suddenly gasped and lit up, shocked by this picture. However, for the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village, such images reminded them of the day when Cloud Shinobi Village was destroyed. Isn't the power that destroys everything the same as it is now? This is the person who destroyed Cloud Shinobi Village with this trick. This is a terrifying move enough to destroy a village. What they don't know, however, is that Nagato is stronger now than when he destroyed Cloud Shinobi Village. The power of Shenluo Tianzhong is definitely stronger than before. But for Sasuke, Nagato's Shinra Tenjin is nothing more than that. Under the horrified eyes of everyone, Shenluo Tianzhong spread towards the surroundings in an instant, and directly impacted in front of Sasuke. Everything around was destroyed by Nagato's power, shattered instantly without leaving any traces. But this moment, the purple light instantly lit up. In Nagato's eyes, suddenly around Sasuke's body, a purple titan rose from the ground. Susanoo, on. The full body of Susanoo appeared instantly, just for a moment as if she had been summoned directly. Sasuke looked up and the Mangekyo Sharingan was turned on, while the 6 Tomo in the Rinnegan Sharingan were turning slowly. At the same time, the blade formed by the condensed purple energy was raised high. Black thunder burst out from Sasuke's body. Lightning sword. Susanoo's blade was covered in lightning for a moment. Black light flickers. Cooperating with the purple light, he slashed directly at Shenluo Tianzhong with a single knife. For an instant, the air seemed to be cut apart, but the sound had not yet erupted. Sasuke's blade directly smashed Shinra Tianzhong. The invisible energy shield shattered like glass, although no shattering sound was heard. But the terrifying roar erupted from the impact of the two forces exploded at this moment. Nagato was stunned, looking at Sasuke in the distance through Yahiko's eyes, who had no waves on his face from beginning to end. This is Susanoo. However, this momentarily broken Shenluo Tianzhong has not yet completely collapsed. Because at this moment, the time is almost crazily compressed. The tailed beast bomb on the other side also swept towards Sasuke with an aggressive and sweeping attitude. The tailed beast bomb, which terrified countless ninjas, is constantly magnifying in their eyes. Tailed beast bomb. This kind of weapon that can easily destroy a ninja village is a strategic level in the ninja world. Possesses unparalleled deterrence. There are few ninjas who do not fear the terrifying power of the tailed beast bomb. However, under the horrified eyes of countless ninjas, suddenly, a huge palm appeared. It was Susanoo's hand. After cutting through Shenluo Tianzheng with a single knife, Susanoo turned his backhand to the tailed beast bomb that was sweeping towards him. Take a light grip. Grab the tailed beast bomb directly. At this moment, time seems to be frozen. The ninjas who were fleeing, avoiding, and in a daze were all frozen. They look at tailed beast bomb, they look at Susanoo. Bang bang. Buzz buzz. Suddenly time seems to be restored, and this moment the roar exploded. The light from the tailed beast bomb explosion was completely blocked by Susanoo. The shock wave erupting from between the fingers made the ground around Sasuke feel as if it had been hit by countless fists. The ground seemed to have turned into a water surface, and the earth was rippling like water waves. Moment. After experiencing intense turmoil in the surrounding area of tens of meters, it calmed down instantly. It's just that the dense cracks show the steel thorns, how terrifying the impact here is. The tailed beast chakra dissipated in Susanoo's hands. This moment, the whole battlefield is quiet. Tens of thousands of ninjas from the United Ninja Army all looked in the direction of Sasuke. Look at the figure of Sasuke, look at the figure of Susanoo. Susanoo raised her fist slightly with one hand, and held the long sword attached to the thunderlight in one hand. Although it is only in a semi-complete state, the momentum emanating from this body at this moment makes everyone dare not breathe. No matter the Akatsuki organization, the Ninja United Army, or even Kimimaro and others stared at Sasuke in astonishment. Tailed Beast Bomb. Tailed Beast Bomb was smashed by Mr. Sasuke. No superfluous movements, no other forces. Just raise your hand, grab it and pinch it lightly, and the tailed beast bomb is blocked. What a powerful force this is. The whole process didn't even stop for half a minute. Many ninjas even suddenly felt that their bodies had no strength, and they fell to their original places. The tailed beast bomb, which once caused countless ninjas to fear and dread, was blocked by one person. So simple, so easily. And there is no suspense which one. This guy. Has the power of the individual completely surpassed that of the tailed beast? Not even the tailed beast bomb poses any threat to him at all. Good combo. Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded, and Nagato, who was stupefied at this time, was awakened. He looked at Sasuke. Even Nagato was stunned by Sasuke's power now. But a tailed beast bomb of this magnitude is too weak. The strongest blow is nothing more than this. As Sasuke waved his hand lightly, Susanoo swung his long knife suddenly and quickly, and the half-moon-shaped slashing wave swept across half of the battlefield in an instant. Swipe across Nagato's side, leaving a deep crack in the ground. At the same time, the chopping wave hit the distant hill. Half of the mountain was cut instantly. The neat cut made countless ninjas gasp and light up. It seems that you have no other means. Saying that, the corners of Sasuke's mouth slightly raised. If you still want to continue, why don't you come in person? What 6 paths pen, because. Nagato narrowed his eyes slightly, just as he was about to say something. Sudden. An arrow pierced through the last pane, and on the other side was Shirado Pain, who was lying on the ground with only half of his body left. It was also smashed by Susanoo's hand. Tiando Pain's body fell slowly, even at the end his eyes were still locked on Sasuke. One-handed tailed beast bomb. How strong are you? Uchiha Sasuke. How come after the last Tiando Pain was resolved? Kakuzu from the Akatsuki organization seemed completely petrified. Looking at Uchiha Sasuke not far away, the horror of this man, as far beyond his imagination. Even the leader, was killed. 6 paths pain all out. This time it's really bad. However, when Kakuzu was thinking about how to escape, suddenly there was a sound of breaking wind, and a puppet burst out of the ground, trying to attack Sasuke. Yet the jagged weapon, striking Sasuke's Susanoo, did not even have an impact. 7 days of practice, relying on pervert plugins like Shadow Clone. Sasuke himself doesn't have to worry about other problems, he just needs to concentrate on cultivating some things that cannot be practiced by clones. Among them is Susanoo. The current Susanoo has also been promoted to ultimate status. Ultimate Susanoo is very different from before, the same chakra, the same pupil power. Susanoo, who is at the ultimate level, has been polished to ultimate, and catching the tailed beast bomb with one hand is also due to the improvement in level. And now, just a puppet trying to sneak up on Sasuke. Sasuke with Susanoo is just hilarious. Kakuzu's face turned into a jerk when he saw this scene. At this time, went to provoke a guy. The next second Sasuke looked in his direction. Kakuzu also looked to the other side at the same time. Scorpio, you bastard. What are you doing? Wenyen Scorpion controls the puppet to walk towards Sasuke step by step. I want to compete with you again in puppetry. Uchiha Sasuke, do you dare? A contest of puppetry? Sasuke smiled. The Susanoo on his body dissipated instantly, and Sasuke walked towards the scorpion. At the same time, he raised his hand and threw out a scroll. Boom. White smoke emerged, and a puppet appeared in front of Sasuke. And this puppet was the former third Kazekage. After the death of the scorpion, the puppet fell into the hands of Sasuke. Sasuke shoots the chakra thread casually and pulls up third Kazekage's puppet. This move. The ninjas who were still in shock were taken aback for a moment. Puppetry. As this puppetry? How did Uchiha Sasuke know puppetry? Some ninjas suddenly thought of something. Idiot, this guy even learned the technique of second Mizukage just by looking at it. It seems that it is not difficult to master the puppet su. What said is indeed understandable. B. Scorpion. Sanagakure's puppet genius. Scorpion seems to have a lot of grudges against Sasuke. Under such circumstances, he dared to take the initiative to attack Sasuke. It was simply courting death. Although he is the body of impure world reincarnation, he will not die. But second Mizukage was easily sealed, so what can he do as a puppet master? At this moment, Scorpion did not expect that Sasuke would have the puppet of third Kazekage. Hateful. If it is other puppet, he still has confidence, but if it is third Kazekage, this puppet is his most outstanding work. Even he himself did not have the confidence to win. What? You look like you've surrendered. Sasuke smiled. Is it because of this puppet? You think it's strong? Then give it to you. When Scorpion was thinking about how to defeat Sasuke in puppetry, the puppet of third Kazekage flew towards him, and the scorpion immediately controlled it with the chakra silk thread. The scorpion who raised his head looked at Sasuke in surprise. He didn't understand what Sasuke was trying to do. I saw Sasuke turned his head and glanced at the crowd of wood-style soldiers, and directly raised a chakra silk thread, controlled one of the wood-style soldiers, and pulled them over instantly. Okay, this is my puppet. Let's start. Sasuke didn't take him seriously at all, which made Scorpio's face extremely gloomy. It is true that he has already lost once, but Uchiha Sasuke actually looked down on him so much, and wanted to compete with himself in puppetry with just a puppet. Even Uchiha Sasuke is too presumptuous to do so. Asshole. Are you humiliating me? Damn it, my puppet technique will definitely not be weaker than yours. In the roar of the scorpion, the third Kazekage puppet burst out a large amount of sand and iron in an instant, sweeping towards Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Scorpion's puppetry as usual, without the slightest improvement. Although puppetry is no longer helpful to Sasuke now. But as a kind of chakra control technique, it still has a lot of reference significance for Sasuke when using other techniques. At the same time, as a puppet art, Sasuke's level is still ultimate. Too weak. Puppetry. What matters is not the puppet, but the technique of the puppeteer. Sasuke moved his index finger lightly. In the next second, the wood-style soldiers, who didn't look threatening at all, flew straight out in an instant, and the sudden burst of speed made Scorpion stunned. Because he saw an incredible scene. As a puppet, an ordinary wooden man actually used the body flicker technique. And it hasn't been printed yet. Appeared directly in front of him in an instant. Bypassing sand iron also bypassed his puppet. Wooden golem pumps his fists in the air, 10 punches in his face. Scorpion's face was smashed instantly, and his head was blown off. This instant Scorpion felt a powerful chakra impact, which was chakra burst from the Senju clan. Weird power fist. This scene stunned everyone. As a partner, Deidara was stunned. How could an ordinary wooden golem puppet be so terrifying? Idiot. You only pay attention to the strength of the puppet, but ignore the most important issue. The strength of the puppet still depends on the puppet master. As he said that, wooden golem bent down and patted Scorpion's chest lightly. Sealing technique. 4 symbols seal. Instantly sealed the Scorpion. Unlocking the control of the chakra silk thread, the wood-style soldier regained his ability to move, took the initiative to pull out the black rod on his body, and stabbed it into the Scorpion's body. Scorpion. Solved. A puppet. A wooden golem puppet that was taken out randomly. The strength that exploded under Sasuke's puppet technique seemed to be completely at the cage level. At this moment, Kakashi, Ching, and Wangtu feel that their common sense has been completely broken by Sasuke. This guy's current strength may really be comparable to that of first Hokage, who calmed down the troubled times. At this moment, Sasuke looked at the white Zetsu army in front of him, as well as the people organized by Akatsuki. These people. Kimimaro, fix it as soon as possible. Said Sasuke turned and looked towards the direction of the Ninja United Army, looking at the tens of thousands of ninjas. Stared at by Sasuke, the ninjas immediately felt great pressure. Kakashi swallowed involuntarily. Now is the real time to face the abyss. The vanguard of the 50,000 ninja united army, I'm afraid, will be wiped out. However, Sasuke looked in the direction of the ninja united army, not intending to attack Kakashi and others. The combined ninja army of tens of thousands of people is not worth paying attention to in Sasuke's eyes. At Sasuke's current level, the number of people has become meaningless. The reason why Sasuke looked in their direction. It was because in Sasuke's perception, several acquaintances were coming. And it seems to be directed at myself. Sasuke closed his eyes and carefully felt the vibration of chakra in the web of heart. Fourth Raikage, Gaara, Terumi Mei, Onoki. These 4 people are rushing towards this side, dare to come. And there are thousands of ninja troops behind them, judging from the speed and breadth of these ninjas. Obviously very elite ninja units. From the combined army of hundreds of thousands of ninjas, 1,000 ninjas with superb strength were selected. It's not a difficult thing. The 5 villages are jointly selected, and each village only selects about 200 ninjas. Apparently this elite ninja troop also came for him. And they are not just as simple as the elite, obviously they have not undergone special training. Even when moving, they maintain a formation that is ready for battle at any time. Sasuke is interested in a specially trained elite ninja unit. After all, there is no need to worry about 1,000 people without cooperation, no matter how elite they are. But there are only a few dozen ninja troops who can cooperate tacitly. Combat power has definitely undergone earth-shaking changes. Sasuke waited quietly. Behind him, Kimimaro and others, together with the wood-style soldiers, are constantly clearing the White Zetsu army. The united ninja army in front of them was also guarded by some wood-style soldiers, but they did not launch an attack immediately. More main forces went to participate in the battle to eliminate White Zetsu's troops. Now there are only some ordinary wood-style soldiers left, fighting with these ninjas of the united ninja army. It's just consuming each other, and there is no way to tell the winner without a few hours. So don't be in a hurry. Kakashi watched Sasuke watch them, but did nothing. Instead, I feel more worried. It was impossible for Sasuke to ignore them. Sasuke stood there motionless, obviously waiting for something. Once Sasuke gets what he's waiting for, or back up. It would be bad then. Captain Kakashi, what's going on now? Chang looked at Sasuke in front of him, with white eyes. He could clearly see the chakra flowing in Sasuke's body. After going through the battle just now, Sasuke unexpectedly has no consumption at all. It feels as if the chakra is still extremely full. This also means that the amount of chakra in Sasuke is very scary. It even reached the bottomless level, and he couldn't see the possibility of defeating such a monster at all. With Susanoo's pupil technique, she can catch the tailed beast bomb with one hand. I am afraid that with this kind of combat power, even if all the 50,000 ninja troops are buried, they may not be able to threaten him. Thinking of this, Ching even had the idea of temporarily retreating. But the task of the vanguard is to find Uchiha Sasuke and drag him down. Wait until the support of the large force. But judging from the situation in the rear, although the large forces are already advancing at full speed. But it still takes a while to come. But facing Uchiha Sasuke, can they persist until then? When Ao couldn't make up his mind and asked Kakashi for his opinion. A thunder sounded. The sound of the rapid wind breaking across the sky of the ninja united army in an instant. A blue lightning bolt directly passed through the sky above the coalition army from behind, and landed directly at the front of the coalition army. Beep. The fall from a high place directly caused a pothole to be smashed out of the ground. Immediately afterwards, a cloud of smoke slowly floated up. In the dust and smoke, the sound of crackling lightning continued to ring. At this moment, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village all widened their eyes when they heard this voice. They were all too familiar with this voice. This is their fourth Raikage, the sound it makes when using lightning-style chakra mode. Wait until the smoke clears. The fourth Raikage is a thunderbolt with a serious face. Appeared. Sasuke looked at the current Raikage, and there was still no change when he talked with Gokage. Feeling a bit disappointed and thought Raikage would be stronger. Master Raikage. That is Lord Raikage. Lord Raikage is here, our reinforcements have arrived. The ninjas cheered. A mass of sand suddenly fell from the sky, and the person on the sand was naturally Gaara. The floating third Tsuchikage Onoki followed closely behind. Terumi Mei also jumped out from the crowd. 4 shadows appeared. Accompanied by 1,000 elite ninja troops. These elite troops appeared in clothes that were completely different from the ordinary ninja joint army. For a moment, the momentum of the united ninja army changed from decadent to high-spirited. Sasuke shook his head lightly. 4 shadows are here? So what? For the current self, it is at most a bigger ant. Don't these ninja united army people understand? Where is the leader of the Akatsuki organization? Uchiha Sasuke. The first thing Raikage did when they met was to ask Nagato. Sasuke frowned, and then he understood that the information that Nagato became Eight Tails Jinchuriki had been reported to Raikage. That's why he asked Nagato as soon as he appeared. I don't know, if you want to find him, you have to find him yourself. Sasuke said coldly. Fourth Raikage's eyes now seemed to burn with fire. Raikage, who learned of this information on the way here, ran away immediately. Own brother, Killer Bee, the tail beast, was drawn out by others. So it goes without saying what will happen to Jinchuriki. Apparently Killer Bee is dead. Dare to kill his fourth Raikage brother, the leader of Akatsuki organization, is unforgivable. The same goes for Uchiha Sasuke, who had a shot against them. If it wasn't for Sasuke, Killer Bee wouldn't have been seriously injured and probably wouldn't have been caught when facing the leader of the Akatsuki organization. This matter is also Sasuke's responsibility. Fourth Raikage thinks so. Now that the leader of Akatsuki cannot be found, Fourth Raikage can only look at Sasuke. The old man will, after finishing you, the old man will go to that guy named Pain. The old man will also pull out the 8 tails from his body, let him experience the feeling of being stripped of the tail beast. Oh, really? Then I wish you success, Sasuke said lightly. But before again, I have to settle your account first, Uchiha Sasuke. As Fourth Raikage spoke, Gaara, Onoki, and Terumi Mei beside him stood up one after another. Although the strength of Sighing has not changed much, but the momentum has undergone earth-shaking changes. Obviously, they have worked out some method to deal with themselves, so that they can be so confident when facing themselves. Sasuke was a little curious, what did these idiots come up with? To be able to make them so confident that they can solve their own problems? Sasuke looked at the 4 of them. It seems that you guys are very confident in defeating me. Gaara. Of course, we won't lose to you a second time. Nodding, Sasuke smiled, then come on. Look at what skills you defeated generals have. Saying that, Sasuke raised his hand, and hooked a few people with his index finger very arrogantly. This arrogant action caused the veins on the foreheads of the 4 of them to explode at the same time. They are shadows. The shadow of the ninja villages of the 5 major countries was so looked down upon by Sasuke, a mere traitor. This was a great insult to the 4 of them and even their village. Regardless of the sudden rage of the 4, even the ninjas of the 4 villages gritted their teeth fiercely. No matter how strong Sasuke is, Sasuke will never be allowed to be so arrogant. The atmosphere suddenly became tense, and at this time, 1,000 elite ninja troops also came out one after another. Divide into 2 teams on the left and right, each with 500 people. One left and one right, with 4 shadows in the middle. Form a half-surrounding gesture towards Sasuke. And at this very moment, on the other side of the battlefield, in the direction of the White Zetsu army, the number of White Zetsu decreased rapidly. Kimimaro was ravaging Kakuzu like crazy. There are only 2 hearts left in Kakuzu, and the other one has been pinched by Kimimaro. Crushed directly. There was only the last heart left, and the fish began to panic. He had no way out, and at the same time, Kimimaro was walking step by step, and the breath of death had completely enveloped him. Damn. Is the leader really dead? Didn't it say that there would be reinforcements? Where are the reinforcements? Where is it? Damn it. Why doesn't it show up? Are we just bait? Kakuzu had a good idea in his heart. For the Akatsuki organization, their 20,000 strong army was indeed a bait. Obito and Nagato have different opinions. Nagato thinks it is best to deal with Sasuke first and take 3 tails Jinchuriki. Obito, on the other hand, thought it would be better to capture the 9 tails Jinchuriki first. The 2 had different opinions, leading to the final decision. Kakuzu and Hidan, together with Scorpion from Impure World Reincarnation, and Deidara led a White Zetsu army of 20,000 people to Tien country. Pretend to capture the 3 tails Jinchuriki. On the other side, Obito leads the main force of the real White Zetsu army and is preparing to attack Konoha village. At the same time, a large number of Impure World Reincarnation ninjas were also dispatched here. On Konoha's battlefield, a real war is about to break out. But Nagato was determined to deal with Sasuke first. So while most of the Impure World Reincarnation ninjas were photographed around Konoha. But among them, the Impure World Reincarnation ninja that Nagato really cares about. First Hokage Senju Hashirama, second Hokage Senju Tobirama, third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato. Second Tsuchikage, third Raikage, fourth Kazekage. These cage-level ninjas were all wanted by Nagato. All of them were brought by Nagato's side. Nagato lost 6 paths pain. Open your eyes. looking at Konan in front of him. Konan sighed silently. She knew the situation. I didn't expect Uchiha Sasuke to be so strong. It was so easy and simple to defeat Nagato's 6 pain, and even the double attack of Tailed Beast Bomb and Shenluo Tianjung could not shake Uchiha Sasuke at all. Nagato, do you want to continue? Nagato coming out of a special instrument. Gently move his hands and feet. Adjusting his chakra state, the battle just now cost him a lot of chakra. At this moment, the 8 tails chakra in his body was a little restless, although he still couldn't resist his suppression. But dealing with Sasuke in this state is definitely not enough. It needs to be adjusted and restored to the best condition. Give up. While recovering his own chakra, Nagato said with a smile, Uchiha Sasuke is a hurdle that must be passed. If you can't cross Uchiha Sasuke, that means our plan will not succeed. The plan will not succeed, which means that he can only resurrect the man in the end. However, to resurrect the man, Nagato didn't know what the other party wanted to do, whether he really did what he said, wanted to create peace for the ninja world or had other intentions. Nagato is very suspicious now. But if he really got to that point and his plan couldn't succeed, he still wanted to take a gamble. However, it is more reliable to rely on yourself as much as possible. But Nagato, Uchiha Sasuke is very powerful. Even if you add these people, it may not necessarily. Konan, are you willing to give it a try? Hearing this, Nagato looked into the distance. I can't protect the body of Yahiko. Sorry. No. It's enough for you to be alive. Yahiko probably doesn't want to see you die. Then I will try my best to fight Sasuke. Nagato's gaze became more determined. Konan didn't know whether his persuasion was successful or not. Turning his head to look at the shadows who once shocked the ninja world. If there is their power to help, maybe it can really solve Uchiha Sasuke is not sure. Later, I'll be with you, Konan said. Nagato froze for a moment, and wanted to refuse, but he still didn't say it. He planned to do it himself this time. 6 pain can't figure it out, so he will do it himself. And after all, the reaction speed of Chakra's teleportation will always be much slower, far inferior to the attack he performed in person. Coupled with the fact that there are still many cage-level combat powers, Nagato doesn't think the odds of winning this time are low. Instead, because of 6 pain's temptation, Nagato felt that he had understood the limit of Sasuke's strength. So this time he will definitely succeed. Shall we do it? Konan asked. Shaking his head, Nagato smiled. No. Wait a minute, someone is helping us drain Sasuke's energy now. Who? 4 cages of the 5 great nations, Kazekage, Movie, Mizukage, Tsuchikage. 4 shadows? Sighing actually rushed to the battlefield here in person. Didn't Konoha say that there is only one town of Hokage? Wouldn't it be easy for Obito to go to Konoha to capture 9 tails? After all, there is only one shadow guard Konoha. Relying on the strength of Obito and Gujao, plus the army of over 10,000 people. As well as a group of ninjas from Impure World Reincarnation, it is not too difficult to break Konoha. That guy Obito seems to be able to capture 9 tails successfully. Hearing this, Nagato smiled. Not necessarily. Nagato always felt that 9 tails might not be in Konoha. But where it is, he can't say now. But one thing, it is very likely that 9 tails Jinchuriki is not in Dawang. As for the specific location, the 4 shadows on the battlefield will give the answer. Uzumaki Naruto, are you not here? I thought he would be the first to come to me. As Sasuke said, Gaara's expression on the side was a bit unnatural. However, Raikage said directly, 9 tails Jinchuriki, in a very safe place. If you want to deal with 9 tails Jinchuriki, you must defeat us first. Saying this, 4th Raikage waved his hand lightly. The 2 teams of ninja troops on both sides immediately began to form seals. Will do. Don't worry, it's easy to defeat you. While talking, Sasuke watched what ninjutsu the ninjas on both sides were about to release. Neat seals, it seems that there is indeed special training. Looking at the ninja troops of 500 people on both sides. Sasuke frowned, moving in unison, which means the ninjutsu released by these ninjas will not be one by one, but a whole. Fire style, Fire Dragon Flame Bomb, times 500. A neat voice sounded, and Sasuke froze for a moment. How did these guys do it? 500 ninjas, even carefully selected elite ninjas, cannot all be fire attribute ninjas. Even if the 500 people are all Grandmaster Firestyle ninjas, it means that besides Firestyle, they may at most master 1 escapism. This means that they can only release ninjutsu with 2 different attributes at the same time. On the other side, the same voice sounded in the same order. The teams of 500 people on the left and right would be arranged by Sasuke. then the best situation should be to give yourself escape techniques with different attributes. In this way, the Grandmaster has 2 different escape techniques on one side, and the combination of the 2 sides can release 4 escape techniques with different attributes. This will make it easier to deal with emergencies. But fire style overlap like this. This also means that 1,000 of them can only release at most 2 kinds of escape techniques with different attributes. Although the power will be greatly enhanced, it will lose the ability to adapt. Wookage is very clear that he is a ninja of the Grandmaster Wudu Ninjutsu. If there are only 2 attributes, then Sasuke can easily use the attributes that are just incompatible to deal with it. Raikage doesn't seem to be using the 1,000 people as a trump card. But if you don't pay attention to these 1,000 people, why choose such an elite ninja army? Wouldn't it be better to just find 1,000 ninjas with strong fighting power? Thinking of this, Sasuke felt a little strange. But soon Sasuke noticed something was wrong. Use a ninjutsu on both sides at the same time. Fire style. Fire Dragon Flame Bomb. When the chakra gathered together, a huge fire dragon head appeared in an instant. Immediately afterwards, he opened his mouth, and ejected 3 extremely fast and extremely powerful fire bombs from the mouth. The power of 500 people all hit together, and the fire-style ninjutsu released. The natural power is needless to say very terrifying. But the problem is, Sasuke's Sharingan and Reincarnation Sharingan noticed. The flow of chakra is not the same as normal ninjutsu release. These guys, not all are Grandmaster Fire Style. But 100 of them are Grandmaster Fire Style, and the remaining 400 are simply outputting chakra. Then use a special method to let 100 Grandmaster Fire Style ninjas be responsible for releasing these chakra through the method of ninjutsu Fire Dragon Flame Bullets. I see. No wonder they are divided into 2 troops, one on the left and one on the left, so that every 100 people are responsible for one kind of escape technique. The 2 sides can use this special method to concentrate the power of everyone to jointly release a number of people. It seems that it is indeed a ninja troop specially prepared for myself. Sasuke laughed. At this critical moment, everyone stared at Sasuke. The ninjas of the United Ninja Army watched the ninjutsu unleashed by the 500 people concentrating all their power. This power is completely terrifying. Each of these ninjas is an elite jonin. Release the same ninjutsu together. Centralize the chakra of all. The power of ninjutsu released can be imagined. However, he looked at a total of 6 firebombs coming from the left and right. Sasuke didn't seem to be in a hurry, and he hasn't started making seals yet. He raised his head for a sudden moment and stared at 4th Raikage. Sasuke made one-handed mudra, water style. Water barrier. Boom. Suddenly, the water flows out of nowhere from the ground on the left and right sides, like a pair of water wings. Boom boom boom. The successive bombardments of flame bombs were completely blocked by water style, but the water flow collided with the flames in an instant, forming an astonishing mist, which spread towards the surroundings. The 4 of Raikage were not in a hurry to make a move, but waved their hands suddenly to let the ninja troops release the attack again. He stared hard at Sasuke. In Sasuke's pride, this guy won't back down. The first ninjutsu Sasuke chooses hard connect, then the second jutsu Sasuke will also do the same. Thinking of this, a bloody light flashed in Raikage's eyes. Next second, the movement of the ninja troops on both sides of the seal has changed. Although Sasuke only used his peripheral vision to observe, Sasuke knew what ninjutsu they wanted to release from the end of the first seal. Earth Style. This is Earth Style, Mountain Soil Technique. This Earth Style is very strong, and if there are enough chakra, even 10 tails can suppress it. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. With the chakra of 1,000 people, it might be impossible to suppress 10 tails, but it is still possible to suppress for a few seconds. Use it against yourself. It works just as well. But Sasuke's chakra is much stronger than them. Earth Style, Mountain Soil Technique. Times 1,000. In an instant, 2 semicircular rocks rose from the left and right, and directly pressed towards the Sasuke wolf in the middle. One left and one right. They are not only large in size, but the pressure they explode is also very terrifying. 4th Raikage sneered. Get crushed, bastard. However, in the next second, a pair of huge arms directly propped up. Purple energy bursts. Susanoo, who appeared again, formed a huge earthen wall with one hand to withstand the terrifying pressure. In an instant, the 2 mountains stopped directly. Raikage frowned. It really won't be that easy, although it's not as expected. But it still shows that it is effective. 3rd Tsuchikage. Raikage turned his head and shouted. At this moment, the 3rd generation has already flown into the sky. Already prepared. A low-frequency noise sounded, and a white light shone down from above. It goes without saying. This is dust escape. The chakra accumulated in the hands of third Tsuchikage is bursting out with dazzling light. The white light shot directly towards Sasuke in a second. Dust escape, stripping the original realm technique. Boom. Dust Dun, who hit at the speed of light in an instant, was right between Sasuke's eyebrows. Sasuke raised his head and narrowed his eyes slightly, without any seal movement, but the black thunder in the next second was like a swimming dragon. Gathering in an instant, they rose into the air and rushed directly towards Chen Dun in the air. The roar of the explosion resounded in the air. At this moment Sasuke's attention has shifted from the air to the front. The sand formed a huge trumpet shape, and one stretched to less than 10 meters in front of Sasuke. In the next second, Sasuke turned slightly aside. At the other end, Terumi Mei's seal has been completed. Boil style, Chaowu technique. At the same time, with the rolling of Gaara's sand, the originally extremely slow acid mist swept in like a storm. Turbo? Sasuke was stunned for a moment, and actually made the four shadows think of a turbo boost method. The acid mist swept over in the blink of an eye, directly hitting the surface of Sasuke's Susanoo. The horrible corrosiveness made Susanoo's body start to melt. Such a match. Indeed. Not bad. There was a twinkle in Sasuke's eyes. Shua in the next second. For a moment, the sharp sound of breaking wind rang in Sasuke's ears. In front of you. The lightning condensed and suddenly changed into the appearance of fourth Raikage. The opponent waved his fist and was about to punch himself. At this moment Sasuke was stunned. So fast. How could fourth Raikage's speed suddenly be so much faster? Compared with his own lightning speed, it is not bad at all. Raikage's speed suddenly increased, making Sasuke a little confused. His chakra volume has not increased significantly. Such a situation should not suddenly increase the speed so much. But in the next second Sasuke successfully found the reason. Third Tsuchikage Onoki on fourth Raikage. So that's the case, ultralight heavy rock technique. If it is this technique, plus fourth Raikage's lightning style chakra mode, then it is understandable that the speed can reach this level. In the next second, Sasuke suddenly thought of another question, that is, this means Raikage's fist can also enhance the attack power. The super heavy rock technique can instantly double the power of Shadow's fist. Cooperate with Raikage's ninjutsu. The power is not ordinary astonishing. The moment Sasuke frowned. Lateral bolt of pain. Chop. A punch directly bombarded his own Susanoo, and immediately cooperated with third Tsuchikage's super heavy rock technique. Sasuke suddenly felt that Susanoo had suffered an unprecedented shock. Bang. Susanoo shattered. Sasuke looked at fourth Raikage, who retreated immediately after punching in front of him. There was still a smile on the other party's face. Seemingly breaking his own Susanoo defense put fourth Raikage in a good mood. If it weren't for the corrosion of the skillful mist technique, fourth Raikage's blow might not be enough to break his own Susanoo. However, Susanoo was shattered by this scene. It also stunned countless ninjas. You must know that the previous thing perfectly blocked a blow from the tailed beast bomb. Even directly smashing the tailed beast bomb instantly with an extremely domineering attitude. But now it is broken. Still got punched by fourth Raikage. Could it be? Is fourth Raikage's fist stronger than tailed beast bomb? Of course not. Although fourth Raikage's fist is very strong with the super heavy rock technique, but the main reason is because of the skillful fog technique. If it weren't for this technique, Susanoo's defense would have been weakened in almost all directions. Even a few hard punches against fourth Raikage were not enough to shatter Sasuke's Susanoo. Fifth Mizukage. This woman is the weakest in overall strength, but her ninjutsu power is undoubtedly the strongest. Sasuke smiled, and at this moment, the mountain technique released by 1,000 elite ninjas. Coming towards Sasuke's crazy oppression. Losing Susanoo's support, the two huge semicircular rocks began to close together almost instantly. It seems that Sasuke is going to be directly squished or even turned into a meat paste. Fourth Raikage stared at Sasuke. It's too late to escape now, Uchiha Sasuke, pay for your own cause. Old man. I will let you be buried here today. Boom. The next second, fourth Raikage landed on the ground, and third Tsuchikage was hanging on his back, looking ahead solemnly. The rock that closed almost instantly still has a crack in the middle. Pippi. A strange voice sounded. Billowing white steam erupted. Everyone followed the rising steam and looked at the scene in front of them. Fourth Raikage's smile froze suddenly, because he imagined that the scene where the commander assistant was crushed in an instant did not appear. Supporting with both hands, Sasuke blocked the Mountain King technique with his own strength. The body is steaming, and at the same time, the skin can be seen faintly red. This guy. Blocked the mountain technique? How can it be? Is Uchiha Sasuke himself stronger than his Susanoo? In terms of strength alone, Sasuke's King of Power is indeed stronger than his own Susanoo. After all, it has the blessing of Boil Style, plus the special power of the Senju clan. Sasuke's power is indeed terrifying. At this moment, Sasuke burst out with even stronger chakra fluctuations. Even for a moment, the Uzumaki formed by chakra directly acts on Sasuke. Two huge rocks were directly crushed by Sasuke. Boom. Boom. Cracked rock and soil piled up on both sides of Sasuke into small hills. And Sasuke stood in the middle, with the powerful chakra wave lingering on his body. Simultaneously with the surge of chakra, Sasuke's hair gradually turned gray, and his skin became much duller. Sage Transformation. On. Instant Sage Transformation plus Boil Style and the strange power of the Senju family. Directly crack the mountain technique violently. Chakra surged from Sasuke's body, and the actual chakra garment appeared. A cloak condensed from purple chakra appeared, and a strange purple flame was burning on Sasuke's chest. The location where Neilin was before, now burning with fire. And the big snakes transformed into chakra behind him are derived from Sasuke's cloak. A total of 8 strange big snakes with purple and white light appeared. He looked up at Raikage in front of him. The cooperation is good, you guys, he is not a complete waste. Being able to force me to activate Sage Transformation is still a bit of a skill. Fourth Raikage looks very ugly now. With bare hands, he cracked the Shanshi technique that was exerted by thousands of people. This technique, even Nine Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto, can only be suppressed instantly. I thought it was more than enough to deal with Sasuke, but now it seems that it is not enough at all. Just saying this is not enough. And now looking at Sasuke's Sage Transformation, this kind of Sage mode has never been heard or seen. It is completely different from Uzumaki Naruto's Sage Transformation. What is Sage mode? What's on your mind? Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded, and a big snake transformed into chakra flew out behind him in an instant, and his body continued to grow, rapidly biting towards the direction of Fourth Raikage. And in the next second, the sand emerged, and directly hit the big snake fiercely. The collision of the two forces made a violent roar. Sasuke frowned and looked at Gaara behind him. Sandstorm Gaara. Judging from the sand just now, Gaara's controllability has increased a lot, and at the same time, the amount of chakra has changed the most obviously among the few people. Significantly doubled. But that's right, at Gaara's current age, it's normal for her strength to continue to increase. But it's not enough to just block yourself like this. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Instantly on both sides of Gaara, boom. Suddenly shot up high black sand, and the sand and iron swept in the direction of Gaara crazily. Gaara was startled. Sure enough, this guy has completely mastered the magnet style, and he is still controlling sand and iron. Water style, big explosion of water and waves. Suddenly, an astonishing flow of water spewed out from Terumime's mouth, and at the same time, the strong impact force repelled the sand and iron on both sides. When the sand and iron are wetted by water, the difficulty of control has increased a lot, although Sasuke has no problem. But it did slow down. The two also took the opportunity to escape. It seems that the distribution of the four is like this: Fourth Raikage and Third Tsuchikage focus on close combat and entangle themselves, while Terumi-Mei and Gaara are maintaining ranged attacks. Pin yourself down. Cooperate with 1,000 specially selected elite ninja troops, and give yourself a fatal blow at the critical moment. This is their plan against themselves. Very nice. It is also very reasonable, but in the face of absolute power, everything is useless. Sage Transformation is directly activated, and Sasuke's current power is completely different from before. Not to mention the chakra coat that protects the body. Even if only relying on today's advanced Sage Transformation, the quality of the magic chakra provided is completely different from the previous king. Violet chakra rays erupt. Even a slight handshake by Sasuke is like being able to easily squeeze the air. Kazekage, it's your turn. At this time, the voice of Fourth Raikage suddenly sounded. Seeing that Sasuke got out of trouble so easily, he also seemed a little worried. And when Sasuke turned on Sage mode, the chakra fluctuations that erupted were really shocking. How the battle will turn out like this can't be predicted by Fourth Raikage. So it must be done quickly. Use the strength of everyone to cooperate and solve Uchiha Sasuke quickly. In order to avoid long nights and dreams, Gaara heard the voice of the Fourth Raikage. The first time I started, I didn't dare to stop at all. At the same time, his eyes fixed on Sasuke in the distance. Sasuke. Let me now let you experience the results of my special training in sealing techniques for the past 7 days. Gaara's magnet style, sand, already has the effect of a seal. And learning the sealing technique is integrated into his power, which can further enhance the effect of suppressing the enemy. Snapped. With a clap of Gaara's hands, in the next second, the sand surged up from both sides of Sasuke, and it circled instantly like a huge shot. Straight up from the ground, the rolling sand suddenly engulfed Sasuke. The speed of the sand surprised everyone. Why does it seem that Gaara's sand speed has become faster? At this time, third Tsuchikage smiled. The ultralight heavy rock technique has done it again. Using this technique to reduce the weight of Gaara's sand can make Gaara's sand very fast. The strength has increased dramatically in disguise. Instantly transform the sand wrapped by Sasuke into a sand-shaped pyramid while trapping Sasuke. The height is about 10 meters. Then the sealed rune appeared from the bottom of the pyramid. It quickly spread towards the upper floor, and within a few breaths, the sealed text covered the entire pyramid. At this time, Sasuke's head slowly appeared from the top of the pyramid. Sealed with sand. A look of astonishment flashed in Sasuke's eyes. Gaara also became stronger? It's now. Suddenly fourth Raikage shouted excitedly. Although Gaara became stronger by relying on a special method, it also enhanced her sealing ability. But after all, the opponent is Uchiha Sasuke. Fourth Raikage doesn't think Gaara can suppress Sasuke with one. Of course, there is no problem with short-term suppression. But now the real main force is about to show off. That is, he brought with him an elite ninja force of 1,000 men. 200 of these ninjas are Grandmaster sealing techniques, of course not all sealing techniques. It is a sealing technique specially created by Grandmaster for Sasuke. 5 elements seal. Times 1,000. Suddenly, the shouts of thousands of people sounded. At the same time, the seal was completed, and the power of the seal swept out. In an instant, a seal rune formed above Sasuke. Under the blessing of strange power, Sasuke felt that the chakra in his body was indeed difficult to mobilize. And the consciousness seems to be a little fuzzy. Good. The combined strength of these 1,000 people actually posed a threat to him. Fourth Raikage seems to have done a lot of preparation. Third Tsuchikage, it's up to you now. As he spoke, a white ray of light lit up in the air. Dazzling white light is frantically gathering, and third Tsuchikage weighs Onogi with his hands raised high. Facing Sasuke below, he is frantically mobilizing his own chakra. Don't worry. Leave it to the old man. With this blow, even if Senju Hashirama comes, I will make him disappear in an instant. Third Tsuchikage took a sharp breath. The next second, the veins on his face popped up, and at this moment Kimimaro and the others clearly felt a terrifying aura brewing. This feeling is very dangerous. Even Master Sasuke, if he gets hit, he might. Quick. Hurry up and save Master Sasuke, Kimimaro just spoke. Next second. A smile flashed on third Tsuchikage's face. It's too late for you guys. Uchiha Sasuke, let's experience the technique specially developed for you. Dust Escape, Super, Original Realm Stripping Technique. Once this technique hits, Sasuke and the sand will instantly break down into small molecules. Disappear completely in this world. As the hands swung down, the triangular-shaped dust escape swept directly towards Sasuke. The sound of breaking wind resounded instantly throughout the entire battlefield. Die. Uchiha Sasuke, this is a battle plan specially designed for you. Although it is only one of many plans, it can make you disappear completely. When fourth Raikage spoke, his heart was extremely happy. The most genius in the ninja world, disappear quickly. This ninja world does not need such a genius. Especially Konoha doesn't need a genius like Uchiha Sasuke. One Senju Hashirama appeared in the ninja world is enough, there is no need for a second. There was a sinister look in fourth Raikage's eyes. And this moment. Suddenly he watched a more ghostly purple light burst out under Onoki's dusty light. I have to say, your cooperation is really amazing. Boom. The pyramid collapsed in an instant, and the purple chakra was burning crazily like a flame to vent. The chakra snake formed by the condensed chakra on Sasuke's body entrenched around Sasuke, opening its huge mouth and roaring wildly. And at this moment, 10 invisible fluctuations spread directly. Gaara froze. Break free. What kind of power is this? It broke through my seal in an instant. Not only broke through his seal, but also broke through the suppression of the seal technique of the 1,000 elite ninja troops. But it was too late. At this moment, the light of Chen-dun had come to Sasuke. No matter how fast Sasuke is, he can't dodge it at all. Hide? Does Sasuke need to hide? He suddenly raised his head and opened his eyes. Under the fluttering hair, The eyes of Samsara Sharingan shone with purple splendor. Ceiling printing. A white spherical light curtain emerges. Directly absorb all the dust that swept over. Ripples swept out one after another in the sky. Sasuke opened his hands, absorbing Onoki's dust chakra. Congratulations to host for mastering the blood successor elimination ninjutsu. Dust escape, super. Original realm stripping technique. Compared with the ordinary stripping technique, the power has been increased by more than 10 times, and the destructive power can be increased according to the amount of chakra injected by the user. Just the first time he came into contact with it, Sasuke completely mastered this technique. However, with the absorption of dust escape chakra, the sound of the system kept ringing. Dust escape, super. Original realm stripping technique level up. Grandmaster, dust escape, super. Original realm stripping technique level up. Xiaocheng, dust escape, super. Original realm stripping technique level up. Dacheng, dust escape, super. Original realm stripping technique level up. Ultimate. Sasuke was stunned for a moment and smiled. So, have you reached ultimate? Dissipated with the roar, the light of dust dune disappeared, and the purple light spread. Formed a series of strange halos, like half-rippling water waves. Sasuke's body slowly fell from the sky. This moment. Whether it is 3rd Tsuchikage or 4th generation Raikage. Gaara, Terumi Mei and others stared at Sasuke in amazement. Did not expect. Sasuke broke through the seal so easily. How strong has his power become? 4th Raikage gritted his teeth fiercely at this moment, but he has experienced it himself. The seal of Gaara plus the seal of thousands of elite troops is superimposed. In the case of adding 2 to 2, let alone him, even 9 Tails has no resistance. This kind of sealing power is too strong. However, Uchiha Sasuke was able to break free with ease. And it is still directly relying on the powerful chakra to brute force. Is his chakra amount more terrifying than 9 Tails? How can this be? Impossible, absolutely impossible. How can a human chakra be more terrifying than a tailed beast? At the moment 4th Raikage's mind is full of questions. But I can't figure out why. To say that Sasuke has more chakra than 9 Tails, in terms of pure quantity, not necessarily. But when it comes to the endless stream of discussions, even 10 Tails is completely incomparable with Sasuke. Sasuke who ignited the fire of chakra, the amount of chakra can no longer be simply measured by specific amount. To Sasuke, these seals are like paper, and they can be broken with a light force. Looking at you, you seem very confused. Sasuke smiled. Watch 4th Raikage. You seem to think that I can't break through your sealing technique. It was said that 4th Raikage really wanted to nod. But the next second Sasuke said directly, in the face of absolute power, those so-called plans you made are too ridiculous. Unscrupulously mocking 4th Raikage face to face, this made 4th Raikage's face suddenly darken. Uchiha Sasuke, don't underestimate the power of ninjas. The combined power of the 5 powers is absolutely unimaginable. While clenching his fists lightly, 4th Raikage glanced at Onoki. At the same time, Onoki, who was in shock, also came back to his senses. He quickly flew behind 4th Raikage, and the ultralight heavy rock technique was launched again. Reduce the body weight for 4th Raikage, so that 4th Raikage can burst out with more amazing speed. Repeat the trick. The same trick is going to be used a second time in front of Sasuke, it's just courting death. Suppress him. Suddenly the 4th Raikage called out. Thousands of elite ninja troops on both sides erupted directly. Immediately print at the same time. Water style. Water dragon bomb technique. Times 500. Lightning style. Thunderball. Times 500. The compound ninjutsu of lightning style and water style broke out instantly. An astonishing electric current flows on the huge water dragon in the air, and it sweeps towards Sasuke in a straight line. Water style and lightning style. Humph. Sasuke snorted coldly in disdain. At the same time, it also starts printing directly. One-handed printing. Fire style, fire dragon explosion technique. The soaring fire that swept across the sky in an instant converged directly into the form of Jackie Chan, and the fire dragon with its teeth and claws opened its huge mouth and bit the water dragon fiercely. At the same time, Sasuke directly performed the second ninjutsu. Wind style, great breakthrough. The gathered gusts directly concentrated on the fire dragon. The compound ninjutsu of wind style and fire style is released in the blink of an eye. The instant heat wave and strong wind raised the surrounding temperature to a frighteningly high temperature of 80 or 90 degrees. The compound ninjutsu of 1,000 people and the compound ninjutsu of Sasuke alone collide in the air. Fire and water blasts, storm and thunder collide. Although it is compound ninjutsu, Sasuke's compound ninjutsu has an advantage in attributes. At the same time, Sasuke, who has turned on the Sage transformation mode, has a huge amount of chakra that is comparable to that of Nine Tails. Possibly even scarier than Nine Tails. With such a huge amount of chakra, the power of the ninjutsu released directly stunned all the ninjas. It was just a head-on collision, and Sasuke's compound ninjutsu pressed the compound ninjutsu of sea mines to the ground and rubbed wildly on the ground. Die instantly. Such a scene appeared. Fourth Raikage was galloping towards Sasuke, but he was stunned for a second. The next second appeared in front of Sasuke, looking at Sasuke, who maintained the ninjutsu release action. Raikage sneered. No matter how strong you are, my current speed is not comparable to yours. Third Tsuchikage saw the right time and directly changed the ultralight and heavy rock technique to the super aggravated rock technique. The conversion from technique to technique is completed in an instant. Third Tsuchikage is also worthy of being the most experienced film among contemporary filmmakers. Raikage's fists gathered thunder. With enhanced super gravity, 10 punches hit Sasuke's face hard. At this moment, the air seemed to be torn apart in an instant. There was an extremely astonishing sound of breaking wind, and the air was shaken. Since ninjutsu can't suppress you, then let the old man come in person. Thought in the mind of Fourth Raikage. However, the next second, he froze in place for a moment. Bang! Buzz. A violent storm swept away, and the ground instantly cracked. The dust and smoke flowed rapidly and rolled to a place tens of meters away. And at this moment, Raikage's figure stopped. Sasuke grabbed Raikage's fist with one hand. In the extreme state of lightning-style chakra mode, lightning-style armor and super-weighted rock technique, under the blessing of two techniques. One punch was enough to disintegrate Susanoo's attack. At this moment, Sasuke stood in place and easily caught it with one hand. Raikage is dumbfounded. Tsuchikage was stunned. Amidst the violent roar of the entire battlefield, everyone seemed to stop their actions suddenly. He stared at this side dumbfounded. One-handed. To catch the combined attack of Fourth Raikage and Tsuchikage. How could this be? Even a mountain can be easily razed to the ground by this blow. Why did Uchiha Sasuke smash it with one hand? Gaara and Terumi Mei's eyes flashed with astonishment. But their reaction was very quick, and now there is no time to be surprised. Come help Raikage and Tsuchikage. The sand flows. Fourth Raikage looked at the expressionless Sasuke, opened his mouth and wanted to ask why. However, in the next second, the sand wrapped around his waist and dragged him out. Almost at the same time, the sand rolled to form a huge sand ball, wrapping Sasuke in it. However, 1 second before the sandball was completely formed, Terumi Mei in the air faced the gap below. Lava style broke out directly. Lava style, monster dissolving technique. The red highly corrosive liquid is sprayed directly. Instantly fills the inside of the sand ball. And Sasuke didn't escape at all, he was hit. Terumi Mei landed with a smile on her face. Successful? Gaara frowned. Success was success, but beep. Suddenly the sand ball exploded, and the mighty chakra flow swept away, and the 8 chakra transformed into chakra snakes revolved around Sasuke quickly. And Sasuke stands in the center, intact. The attack just now was completely blocked by chakra's coat. Your ideas are very good, but the me now is no longer something you can deal with. Now. It's my turn. Sasuke laughed, took a breath suddenly, and clapped his hands hard. Wood style. Sasuke had an indifferent smile on his face. The body sank slightly, and the hands suddenly and fiercely clapped. At this moment, the terrifying celestial chakra on Sasuke exploded. With the existence of the reverse scale, Sasuke can condense the magic chakra crazily and quickly all the time. At the same time, due to the existence of the chakra fire, basically no matter how much natural energy is absorbed, all can be transformed into the magic chakra. So, the current Sasuke chakra is better than Senju Hashirama in both quality and quantity. Wood style. Wooden dragon technique. With the impact of Sasuke's body, the ground behind him exploded instantly. The huge vine man rose directly into the sky. Immediately afterwards, it rolled rapidly, forming a twisted twist state. And in the blink of an eye, a huge wooden dragon directly formed, entrenched behind Sasuke. The huge body is even bigger than Summoningmon. Sasuke's eyes flashed fiercely. Now, let you feel what is overwhelming power. The wooden dragon twisted its body, ready to attack. At this moment, Fourth Raikage felt that his hair stood up, and his whole body seemed to have fallen into a cold hell. Not good, he must be stopped. Raikage suddenly opened his mouth and let out an astonishing roar. Everyone, suppress him with the mountain technique. Quick a roar. It rang directly over the entire battlefield. And in an instant, the 1,000 elite ninja troops on both sides also started to act immediately. The results of the special training were revealed at this moment. Almost as soon as Raikage's voice fell, Shantu technique was ready in an instant. In the next second, all the ninjas clapped their hands on the ground. Boom boom boom. Once again, the huge rocks rising on both sides of Sasuke quickly came to crush Sasuke fiercely. It seems that the strength this time is much stronger than the last time. At the same time, Gaara also seemed to be ready to fight. Instantly gather all your chakra. This time, if we can't suppress him, then we are about to lose. Thinking of this, Gaara's eyes flashed with incomparable determination. Let the ninja world see the awareness of being a cage. Thinking of this, Gaara looked up at Sasuke. He looked at the monster that was surrounded by purple light and exuded astonishing coercion. Sandstorm. 1,000-story funeral. The mad sand that rolled in an instant, along with 2 huge rocks that rose up, came towards Sasuke's crazy package. With the help of Gaara, the calendar is directly filled. At this moment, chakra erupted one after another. A chakra storm formed like a tide, wave after wave, completely ignoring all the ninjas in the entire battlefield. Is this a battle between top powerhouses? Even if it's just a chakra storm, no matter what it is, it's not something ordinary ninjas can resist. This kind of power, is it really possible for humans to do it? At this moment, countless eyes focused on Sasuke. Fighting against the Four Shadows Alliance with his own strength, this guy is already the most pervert ninja in this era. 1,000 elite ninja troops will also be added, and a week of special training will be specially designed to deal with Uchiha Sasuke. Even in defeat, Sasuke did it with honor. However, the current situation is that it is not certain. Such terrifying power is only used to deal with Sasuke alone, and it is still not possible to defeat Sasuke 100%. The world view in the hearts of countless ninjas has collapsed. Yet the battle is not over. 2 gigantic rocks that suddenly rose from left to right moved towards Sasuke crazily. The terrorist forces seemed to crush Sasuke into a pulp in one fell swoop. At this moment, Sasuke had a smile on his face. Mountain technique, plus magnet style. Do you want to defeat yourself just by relying on these 2 forces? Too weak. Sasuke snorted coldly. The wooden dragon flicked its tail instantly and stopped the closed rock with its body. However, the sand of Gaara winds up. Under the continuous increase of pressure, the 2 huge rocks began to close together again. Although it was only a momentary pause, the ninjas of the thousands of elite ninja troops on both sides also felt the strong impact. At that moment, I felt as if my body was about to be emptied. With the help of Gaara, they immediately felt a lot easier. At the same time, the suppression of Sasuke is also stronger. However, Sasuke will not be solved so easily. A wooden dragon technique can't handle it. Then add another one. Snapped. The sound of Sasuke clapping his hands was very clear and loud at this moment. Everyone looked at Sasuke. Sasuke's mouth moved slowly. Wood style wooden golem jutsu. The gigantic wooden golem that rose from the ground in an instant supported the rocks on the left and right with both hands. The sudden eruption of terrifying power directly crushed 2 huge rocks. Along with the collapsed rocks, scattered sand. Sasuke crossed his arms and stood above wooden golem's head, looking down at the 4 people below. At this moment, countless ninjas couldn't help swallowing their saliva. Wood style. Uchiha Sasuke can still wood style? Not only does he know wood style, but even the power of wood style is so terrifying. Isn't he from the Uchiha clan? How could wood style blood succession boundary? Since Senju Hashirama, there is no second person who can use the power of wood style. Failed. Another failure made 4th Raikage's face extremely teasing. Bloodless. Damn it. Since the mountain technique can't be suppressed, then. While Raikage was talking, Sasuke spoke. Said impatiently. I've had enough. Do you think I won't give you a chance to continue? Said Sasuke just snapped his fingers lightly. Wood style. The tree world is coming. The instantly scrolling Fujimon exploded, causing the ninja troops on both sides, all the ninjas, to be instantly strangled by wood style. The elite ninja troops of 1,000 people were all killed by the wood style Fujimon who suddenly broke out of the ground. And it swept directly in the direction of 4th Raikage and others. Doesn't seem like giving them much reaction time at all. Wood style enveloped them instantly. The 4 people who were entangled by the wood style vines were very surprised because after being entangled by the wood style, they felt the amazing loss of chakra. Not good. 3rd Tsuchikage said. In the next second, a huge palm fell from the sky. Boom. Wooden golem's palm immediately covered the 4 of them. The terrifying power caused the entire battlefield to vibrate crazily. With one blow, some perceptual ninjas can't even feel the four shadows' breath. Raikage, they were killed. A ninja fell to the ground limp and kneeling. The ninjas looked at the figure standing over wooden golem. The mighty chakra enveloped the entire battlefield, and the terrifying wooden golem looked extremely tall at this moment. Kakashi, is it over? Four shadows, defeated. The dust and smoke spread, and Si Ying's figure was completely engulfed. The power generated by wooden golem's huge palm slap made all the ninjas of the combined army startled. I'm afraid Si Ying's fate will not be too good. As the smoke dissipated slowly, the picture that appeared was Gaara's sand formed a defense, and the other three were protected in it. But he himself. But Master Gaara. Seeing this scene, the ninjas of Sand Shinobi stared wide-eyed, and their eyes were bloodshot. Their Feng is covered in blood at this moment, and their breath is also weakened very much. As if it might disappear at any moment, Master Sasuke. A large number of Sand Shinobi ninjas rushed to rescue Gaara. Seeing this scene, Kakashi's heart froze suddenly. This is just a single blow, directly killing Sasuke Gaara. I am afraid that the other shadows will also. Blocked. Nice reaction, but what about the next attack? Sasuke's voice sounded again, and the wooden golem attacked again. A straight punch hit the three people below fiercely. At this moment Raikage jumped away with Gaara, who was unable to move and fell into a coma. Mizukage Terumi Mei's speed was slightly slower, and it seemed impossible to dodge. At this time third Tsuchikage made a move. Blocking directly in front of Terumi Mei, Shuangshui faced wooden golem's fist. Stop for the old man. Earth style, ultra-light heavy rock technique. Third Tsuchikage, who added a layer of earth style chakra body armor to himself, trying to block the wooden golem's fist. The impact force was applied to his body for a moment, which made third Tsuchikage feel the chi and blood surging in his chest. A mouthful of blood spurted out directly. Sasuke sneered. With this level, wanting to block wooden golem's attack is simply a dream. Third Tsuchikage stepped on the ground and kept backing away, and was instantly sent flying a distance of more than 10 meters by the fist. The huge impact force cannot be resolved by earth-style chakra's defense and ultra-light heavy rock technique. Boom. Wooden golem's fist stopped slowly, and he pulled his arm back. However, what was left was the third generation covered in blood, and fell to the ground with a plop. He was already old and frail, but now he has completely reached his limit. Third Tsuchikage fell, and the ninjas of Rock Shinobi were also very excited. This is their third Tsuchikage, the only ninja in the ninja world who has mastered the elimination of blood successors. He was killed with a single punch. That huge wooden golem is obviously huge in size, but the agility and quickness of its movements is simply unbelievable. And the attack power is simply terrifying. In the first blow, Sasuke Gaara was killed because he was protecting the other three shadows. On the second hit, third Tsuchikage also covered Mizukage himself and was dealt with. Now only Raikage and Mizukage are left. Uchiha Sasuke. Old man. I will never let you go. Flashing thunder, rapid breaking wind. Sasuke stood over wooden golem's head without even moving his eyes. The next second, a blue flash appeared directly behind Sasuke. Fourth Raikage seems to be planning to attack Sasuke. But Sasuke didn't care at all. The chakra snake behind him instantly bit fourth Raikage's shoulder. At the same time, one after another, the snakes of chakra entangled fourth Raikage tightly. Limbs are immobilized. Slowly moving in front of Sasuke, was hung in the air. Sasuke looked at fourth Raikage, who couldn't move. Gently shook his head. Too weak. At this time, the ninjas of the United Ninja Army, especially the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village, rushed forward one after another. One by one roared. Make Sasuke let go of their Raikage, or make him look good. At the same time, one after another ninjutsu roared towards Sasuke. Colorful ninjutsu in the air, water style, fire style, earth style, lightning style, wind style. Basically have. After all, they are not trained and cooperative ninjas, even ninjas from the same village. They are also good at different things, and the attacks they use in a hurry are also completely different. Sasuke laughed. The wooden dragon perched on the wooden golem instantly rolled its body, flicking its tail flexibly. The dragon tail waved lightly. All ninjutsu attacks in the air were destroyed. Even the gust of wind directly suppressed all the ninjas on the ground. And at the moment when the ninjas were suppressed, beep. A fierce impact sounded. Sasuke's fist had hit fourth Raikage hard in front of him. The fist sank directly into fourth Raikage's belly. The huge force made fourth Raikage lose consciousness at this moment. In an instant, it flew upside down and cut through the sky, directly hitting the ground with an astonishing impact. Just hit a huge hole. Dust and smoke were everywhere, and the ninjas in Cloud Shinobi Village hadn't reacted yet. Sasuke clapped his hands lightly, one left. As he spoke, he turned his head and looked at Mizukage Terumi Mei, who was gasping for breath, with a terrified expression on his face. Now she has completely forgotten about fighting. Completely intimidated by Sasuke's terrifying power. How could someone be so strong? And Sasuke's wood style, Sasuke will wood style, which is just like the legendary ninja god Senju Hashirama. This guy. Could it be that he also carried out the experiment of wood style, and successfully transplanted this power to himself? Face off against Mizukage Terumi Mei, who has no will to fight. A woman. Sasuke did not intend to continue to display any powerful attacks. With a wave of his hand, the vines rolling up from the ground instantly entangled Terumi Mei. Vineman absorbed chakra, and Terumi's already depleted chakra was exhausted. Coupled with the power of the entanglement, Terumi Mei was starved of oxygen and fell into a coma. All four shadows are destroyed. Now, Jonin Lois of Iwagakure, eyes full of anger. It is unforgivable for my father to be beaten like this by the other party. Asshole. The roaring Lois directly seals and releases Earth-style ninjutsu. Earth-style, Earth's core movement. The humming and vibrating Earth suddenly began to undergo drastic changes. Seems to want to control the geology and bury Sasuke and wooden golem directly in the ground. However, Sasuke frowned, staring indifferently in the direction of the Lois. Raise your hand slightly in his direction, court death. Black thunder emerged from Sasuke's fingertips. In the next second, the black thunder that fell from the sky directly hit the Lois. Crack. The flashing thunder made Huang Tu lose consciousness in an instant. Sasuke shook his head in disappointment. This level, you also did it to me? Sasuke. Suddenly a voice sounded. Sasuke froze for a moment, then slowly turned around. I don't know when I jumped up and rushed straight towards Sasuke. Kakashi. Holding Reikiri in his hand, Sharingan locks Sasuke tightly. Stop it. You used to be not like this. Seeing Kakashi who suddenly appeared, Sasuke smiled. It sounds like you know yourself very well. Kakashi's body quickly approached Sasuke in the air. The Reikiri in his hand also burst into an astonishing thunder. But all this is nothing in Sasuke's eyes. Hands up. Moment. Kakashi felt unable to move his body. Snakes of chakra wrapped around his body, pulling him in front of Sasuke in an instant. Ms. Kakashi. Your movements are too slow. At this moment Kakashi was surprised. So fast. Sasuke's attack was completely released in front of his face, but he relied on Obito Mangekyo Sharingan, unexpectedly did not capture the picture. Boom. When Sasuke grabs Kakashi's neck with one hand, at the same time, he instantly destroys Reikiri in his hand with the other hand. At this moment, Kakashi felt Sasuke's power that was so strong that it was desperate. Can't resist. Just like a child wants to fight against an adult. It's just looking for death. With such power, it's no wonder the four shadows were defeated. Mr. Kakashi, it's better for you not to interfere in this battlefield. As soon as the voice fell, the black stick penetrated Kakashi's shoulder in an instant, and the left and right black sticks directly disrupted the chakra in Kakashi's body. So much so that the Sharingan could not keep the Mangekyo open. The normal eye mode is directly restored. After all these years, Kakashi has never been able to shut down Sharingan. Has been maintaining the chakra consumption of the Sharingan. Unexpectedly, because of this situation, Sharingan will finally be closed today. This. I don't know if it is good or not. Beep. Kakashi was punched straight to the ground. Without chakra's protection, Kakashi passed out the moment he was hit to the ground. Looking at a group of trembling allied ninja army ahead. Now. It's your turn. Wooden dragon and wooden golem move at the same time, boom boom boom. The ground shook wildly, and wooden golem rushed directly into the crowd like a terrifying chariot. And the wooden golem that entered the crowd and cooperated with the wooden dragon is simply a terrible destruction machine. Any ninjutsu is useless to them, and the only way to break them is to rely on physical jutsu. At the same time not afraid of consumption. Even if a part of the body is destroyed, it can rely on Sasuke's chakra to recover quickly. The speed of recovery is very fast. Boom boom boom. One after another roared, and hundreds of ninjas were instantly wiped out. And Sasuke jumped off the wooden golem's head. I'm here to warm up too. After all, the real battle has not yet begun. Sasuke fell straight into the rear of the Ninja United Army, and the moment he fell, the ground raised thick dust and smoke. At the same time, the surrounding ninjas backed away as quickly as possible, as if they didn't dare to get too close to Sasuke. The ninjas looked at Sasuke, who dared to rush in alone. The complexion changes in different ways. Some people are afraid, some people are afraid, some people are worried, but some people feel that they have been greatly humiliated. This guy didn't take them seriously at all. It is true that the strength of these ninjas is only insignificant to the top powerhouse Uchiha Sasuke. But this guy can't completely ignore them because of this. Even if they are ants on the ground, if there are too many ants, they can kill an elephant. Damn it. This guy not only severely wounded our shadow, but also dared to rush into our siege like this brazenly. It doesn't treat us as human beings at all. Although I'm just a genin, I still have dignity. The worst thing is to die together. Revenge for Lord Gaara. Dare to hurt our Mizukage, all Kirigakure ninjas will not let you go. When the first person breaks out, there will be a second one. So much so that other people who were trembling because of fear and didn't dare to make a move at all are about to be infected at this moment. The big deal is death, and others are not afraid, so are they afraid? Come on. Even if it is consumption, I will consume this guy to death. The next second, all the ninjas in all directions rushed towards Sasuke roaring and roaring. And for Sasuke, they can only be called courageous. Gently swinging his arms, next. Sasuke is about to start warming up. A sudden step under your feet. The body was ejected in an instant, and at the same time, cracks appeared on the ground behind him, spreading rapidly in a fan-shaped state, instantly spreading over a range of more than 10 meters, and the smoke and snow slowly rose. And at this moment, a scream came. Sasuke's figure flashed into the crowd, kicked, pushed and pulled casually. They can easily kill a ninja in seconds. Whether it is Jonin, Chunin, Genin, for Sasuke, there is not much difference, and it can even be said to be exactly the same. At the same time, Sasuke not only relied on superb physical skills to attack, but also controlled the 8 chakra snakes behind him to quickly sweep and bite. Can easily take away a ninja every time. Purple chakra is mixed with white light and condensed to a degree. The snake of chakra, like the tail of a tailed beast, appears from behind Sasuke. This is probably influenced by the Ryuchi Cave Sage mode, leading to such a strange change in Sasuke's sage transformation. But such a change is better. Bang bang bang. Like Sasuke, who is like a tiger, like a flock of sheep, no matter how many people are going forward, they can't stop Sasuke. The oppressive force brought by the terrifying taijutsu almost made all the ninjas drop their jaws in shock. A person's taijutsu can be so perverted that any ninja can't move in front of Sasuke and is instantly eliminated. A large group of unarmed ninjas fell to the ground within 2 breaths. Wooden Golem and Wooden Dragon behind him were also pushing wildly. One-on-one with a unit of 50,000 ninja united army. Although it has been exhausted before, this is a ninja unit after all. How could this be possible? But Sasuke's horror is more than that. Raising his hand, Sasuke directly drew out the Kusanagi sword, and blocked a ninja rushing towards him wielding a ninja sword. The moment the blade collided, thunder and lightning flickered, and Sasuke's eyes shone coldly. The black sword Kusanagi turned suddenly along the opponent's ninja sword. Backhand Sasuke grabbed the handle of the knife again and stepped past the guy. In the next second, a bloodstain appeared on his neck, and he lost any breath. Boom. Sasuke's figure was like a ghost accompanied by black lightning. The Kusanagi sword pierced the sky, and under the flash of black thunder, a large number of ninjas fell to the ground. Compared with Sasuke, who is unarmed, Sasuke who pulls out the Kusanagi sword is more terrifying in combat. After all, Sasuke's sword skills today have completely reached the ultimate level. The combination of Ultimate's sword technique and Ultimate's body technique is even more inconceivable. A dozen or so breaths passed. Sasuke stood among the corpses. In such a short time, the number of ninjas who died was probably thousands. Not counting Wooden Golem. Well, and the ninjas defeated by Wooden Golem. The pungent smell of blood filled the air. The ninjas around couldn't help but vomit. Blood slowly dripped down from the blade of Kusanagi sword. This was the last drop of blood on the blade. The tip of Sasuke pointed at the ground obliquely. Black thunder flowed on the blade, and the 8 chakra snakes behind him twisted their bodies and raised their heads high. An astonishing release of killing intent. Too weak. I thought the Ninja United Army would let me warm up a little bit, but now it seems that it doesn't work at all. Boom. After Sasuke finished speaking, Wooden Golem and Wooden Dragon attacked at the same time, and this blow probably killed hundreds of people. So far, Sasuke alone has basically defeated 10,000 ninjas. This is just a dozen or so breaths. The joint army has dropped by 1/5, which is a terrifying combat effectiveness. Even the belligerent Kimimaro smacked his tongue secretly. But at this time, there was a slight vibration on the ground. Sasuke raised his head slowly and smiled. The slightly vibrating ground may be completely undetectable to other people, but Sasuke could clearly feel it. This kind of vibration is naturally the vibration that can only be emitted by a large number of ninjas running fast and stepping on the ground. Sasuke had a smile on his face, but at this time, Sasuke's smile looked to the ninjas around him, just like the smile sent by the devil asking for their lives. And the ninja, who was frightened by this smile, was suddenly too scared. Directly release ninjutsu desperately, and it's a ninjutsu attack with a huge range. A group of terrifying flames suddenly swept from the side. Sasuke frowned. Let's not say whether you can hit him if you release ninjutsu in such a crowded place. Even if he can hit him, it is inevitable that he will accidentally injure others. This is completely unnecessary. However, the opponent dared to use this kind of ninjutsu at the moment. Sasuke's figure flickered slightly, and he moved a distance of more than 10 meters in an instant. The flames whizzed past, just passing behind Sasuke's back. He got out of the way, so the other ninjas were naturally the ones who suffered. Already crazy? You even attacked your own people? Sasuke smiled. Then if that's the case, I'll come and accompany you guys to go crazy. When he raised his hand, lightning appeared instantly, forming dense thunder snakes around Sasuke, constantly beating. Then, under the control of Sasuke, the surging thunder snakes plundered all around in the next second. Zzz. Crackling. The sound of thunder and lightning exploded, and hundreds of ninjas around were instantly killed by lightning style. Every razor hit every ninja accurately, and no ninja escaped at all. Zzz. There was a faint thunderlight flowing from Sasuke's body. At this time, the United Ninja Army was completely desperate. Looking at the crowd, constantly shuttling, accompanied by thunder flashes. Cries of pain and despair followed one after another. The number of the combined ninja army is crazily decreasing. From the initial 50,000 people to less than 20,000 people now. And that number is still dwindling. 18,000 people. 15,000 people. 11,000 people. Basically, every time a dozen breaths pass, thousands of people will be lost. With such a consumption rate, even a ninja army of 50,000 people would not be enough. Its commander helped me kill not too many. The terrifying power of Wooden Golem and Wooden Dragon is really very effective against such a large number of enemies. With such a frightening killing speed, even the most courageous ninja would have only despair at this moment. Faced with such a terrifying enemy, many ninjas have become numb to the point of giving up. Standing in place like a wooden man, motionless. Staring at the flashing thunder not far away, they no longer even have the idea of avoiding it. Uchiha Sasuke, this man is like a devil. Is the real devil. When the remaining Ninja United Army Vanguard ninjas are desperate. Suddenly, dust and smoke billowed in the distance. Now even they can clearly feel the vibration of the ground. Sasuke stopped, and at the same time Wooden Golem and Wooden Dragon came behind Sasuke. The rear was a mess, and countless ninjas fell to the ground. He narrowed his eyes slightly and stared into the distance. There was no wavering on Sasuke's face, although he had seen what was coming. This is the 150,000 Ninja United Army, plus the 50,000 Vanguard. A full 200,000 people. With such a force to deal with him, Sighing really thinks highly of him. At this moment when the large forces of the Ninja United Army appeared, all the ninjas finally had a light in their eyes. It's like seeing hope. The shaking of the ground became stronger and stronger. At this moment, the 20,000 white Zetsu troops can't be checked, and they are about to be completely wiped out by Kimimaro and others. At the same time, Kimimaro felt the arrival of the large force of the Ninja United Army. Also suddenly hit 12 points of the spirit. Support. Has it arrived yet? Gritting his teeth lightly, Kimimaro turned his head to look at the remaining white Zetsu troops. Get rid of them all as soon as possible. Shigego, who was controlling Deidara, nodded. Yes. The enemy is coming to kill you again. We also need to hurry up and cooperate with Master Sasuke, to get rid of all these people. As he spoke, he opened the sealing scroll and directly sealed Dilla. The white Zetsu force is now only a few thousand left. Except for Hidan, the undead guy, all the 7 ninja swordsmen were eliminated. The 7 huge sandballs are the appearance of the 7 ninja swords being sealed. Looking at the mountains and plains, the ninja army that almost completely covered most of the plain. Then feel the violent shaking of the ground. Sasuke was also shocked by the scene of hundreds of thousands of ninjas sprinting for a while. As their distance got closer and closer, the desperate vanguards at this moment became excited one by one. Finally come. Our reinforcements. The big army is here. This is a full army of 150,000 ninjas. Victory belongs to our Ninja United Army. No matter how strong Uchiha Sasuke is, it is nothing in front of a 200,000 ninja army. Even if it is ants, 200,000 ants are enough to easily kill an elephant. The desperate ninjas at this moment are extremely excited and excited. Not only has the hope of surviving, but even the hope of revenge and blood hatred. But at this moment, the large unit of the United Army came in the exact opposite mood. Looking at such a miserable vanguard, look at the number of ninjas who died on the battlefield. Their hearts are quite complicated. A ninja troop of 50,000 is more than enough to destroy even a big country, but it cannot defeat an Otoshi village, nor can it defeat a non-Chia Sasuke. Even Saiyans were seriously injured. Is this really the power that humans can use? The 1,000-man vanguard led by Saiyan, they were all the best of the best, but they were all wiped out. At this moment Sasuke felt a familiar chakra wave. That is Uzumaki Naruto's chakra waves. It's finally here, Naruto. Sasuke guessed right. Naruto really couldn't be placed in Konoha. After all, in terms of completeness, is there any safer place than being surrounded by 200,000 ninjas? I'm afraid not anymore. No matter where it is hidden, it may be discovered. Once discovered, it is not easy to support and rescue. It's better to take it directly to the most unexpected place. The so-called most dangerous place is the safest place. Sasuke smiled. Perhaps Ashura's chakra is the one who breaks through the 5th level of Yongdan nature transformation. As long as the Ashura chakra on Naruto's body is completely analyzed and Yongdan is raised to level 5 nature transformation, then there should be no problem. Speaking of the level of nature transformation, what Sasuke is very puzzled about is that Yin Dun has been promoted to level 5, but it can still be promoted. But the upgrade rate is ridiculously slow. Even with the shadow clone heap, there is no way to improve it too much. Even if you let all shadow clones upgrade regardless of everything, then there shouldn't be any problems. But Sasuke needs to upgrade too much. So now Yin Dun is only at the 5th level, and it is not clear how many levels the full level is at the same time. But no matter what, let's upgrade Yongban's nature transformation to level 5 now. And the key to upgrade should be Ashura. One of Sasuke's main purposes this time is to analyze Naruto's Ashura chakra on Naruto. Now Naruto has finally appeared. Everything else is temporarily put aside. 4 shadows, are you hurt like this? When the ninjas approached, the remaining vanguard ninjas quickly brought 3rd Tsuchikage, 4th Raikage, Kazekage Gaara, and Terumi Mei over. Quick! Let the medical ninja treat the 4 adults. Their condition is very bad. If they don't get treated quickly, they may die. It looked so bad. Among the medical ninja troops, a female ninja with pink hair came out. The injuries suffered by Saiyan, could it be? A Cloud Shinobi ninja got impatient. Of course the injury was done by Uchiha Sasuke. Do you need to ask such a stupid question at this time? Get out of the way quickly, the 4 adults can no longer delay any more time. He said he wanted to push her away. The surrounding medical ninjas frowned. This is Master Tsunade's disciple. In terms of medical ninjutsu, I am afraid that everyone present is not as strong as her. Hearing this, the Cloud Shinobi ninja was stunned. Looking at the person in front of him, is he the best in the ninja army at this age? Tsunade's disciple. No wonder. Please, save Raikage. Hearing the words, Sakura nodded. I will do it without you saying it. Treating the wounded is the responsibility of the medical ninja. Saying that, little Sakura looked toward Sasuke. Although she couldn't see Sasuke, she could clearly see the huge wooden golem wrapped around a wooden dragon standing in the center of the battlefield. Now the ninjas of the large army have moved closer in that direction. Medical ninjas need to set up temporary medical centers not too far from the battlefield. Little Sakura spoke softly. He sighed silently, then turned his head and began to treat the 4 shadows seriously. No matter what, Saiyan absolutely cannot have any problems. Otherwise, this will be an extremely heavy blow to the 5 major countries. And now, the large force of the Ninja United Army, all fighters are approaching in the direction of Sasuke. While helping the wounded, surround Sasuke at the same time. After roughly understanding the situation of the vanguard, many ninjas in the large army couldn't help but gasp. So many ninjas couldn't stop this guy for more than 10 minutes, and they suffered such heavy losses. Basically, it can be regarded as more than half of the people who have been wiped out. And the other party is just one person. The fighting power of a person has become like this. Can these ninja coalition army with 150,000 ninjas really defeat each other? This is a very serious problem. But it's not their turn to think about this kind of problem at this moment. Cloud Shinobi Elite Jonin, Darui with Shi, and several disciples of Killer Bee, have already walked up with a group of Cloud Shinobi ninjas. Uchiha Sasuke. Darui gritted his teeth fiercely, and this fellow severely wounded Master 4th Raikage. Now that Raikage and others have been transported to the rear for treatment, It is absolutely impossible for Sasuke to hurt Saiyan again at this time. You must block him, or even kill him. The 150,000 ninjas of the United Ninja Army are definitely enough to deal with one Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke. Coming in front of Sasuke, Darui opened his mouth to say something. However, in the next second, the adult's fist responded to him. The huge fist that fell instantly slammed down fiercely towards the position of this group of Cloud Shinobi. Darui didn't even have time to react. Fortunately, the Rock Shinobi at the rear reacted quickly. Print directly. Earth style, Earth formation wall. Bang bang bang. Leading a group of elite Rock Shinobi to release Earth style ninjutsu for defense, it took barely a moment to raise more than a dozen earthen walls. Blocked the attack for Darui. Boom. But below that, Earth style was also instantly defeated. Wooden Golem put away his fist, but in the next second the wooden dragon plunged down his arm, and opened his eyes and mouth, ready to swallow Darui and the others. Water style, Water Dragon Bomb. Mist Shinobi Chongjuro led a group of Mist Shinobi to quickly release ninjutsu to block the attack of the wooden dragon. It's dangerous, but fortunately we caught up. Chojuro looked at Sasuke with a guilty conscience. That kind of monster, I can't be the opponent. Obviously strong, but Chojuro always lacks a little bit of confidence. At this moment, Sasuke didn't care about the wooden golem and wooden dragon's attacks being blocked. His gaze had already swept over a distance of hundreds of meters. Locked directly behind the crowd, Naruto, who was secretly protected and didn't even seem to be able to show his face. Can't do it? Naruto? Then let me help you. Boom. Suddenly, Sasuke's gravity stepped on him, wooden golem's body shook slightly, and Sasuke flew straight out like a rocket. Passing rapidly over the Ninja United Army. Sweep quickly towards the Naruto position in the rear. At this moment, a gust of wind accompanied by a roar directly stopped Sasuke. Where do you want to go? Your opponent is us. Longlo-ji. The storm that rolled in an instant directly knocked Sasuke down from the air. The reaction speed is so fast, it seems that he was staring at himself from the beginning. Sasuke landed firmly and stood up slowly. Gaze to the left. Sand Shinobi, Tamari, Konkuro. With a group of ninjas from Sand Shinobi, they are blocking themselves. Go away. I'm not in the mood to play with you right now. The expressions of the two of them suddenly became ugly, but the next second. Konoha's ninja appears. Long time no see, Sasuke. You completely left us out of sight behind us. Listening to the familiar voice, Sasuke frowned. Turning to look at the Konoha Shinobi forces emerging from the crowd. Nara, Shikamaru. Feel the completely different chakra fluctuations in Shikamaru. If one wants to describe it accurately, it would be from being weak in the past. He has grown into a trustworthy ninja. Although it is not strong for Sasuke, if the combat power of ordinary Jonin can be used as a standard, then the current Shikamaru has surpassed ordinary Jonin. Sure enough, he is worthy of Konoha's Shaoqiang. There is absolutely no doubt about talent, especially because of this monster. It's just that I'm a little lazy, but I'm going to work harder and work harder. Shikamaru's strength growth rate is definitely not slow. But I don't know what the reason is that the current Shikamaru has become stronger to this level. It's not the same as the original, and with the appearance of Shikamaru, not just an acquaintance like Shikamaru came out one after another. Sasuke-kun. I thought I would have caught up with you when we met again, but I didn't expect the gap to become so huge. There was no anger or other emotions in this voice. Some are just calm. Sasuke looked at Neji and smiled. The current Neji is also very strong. It should be comparable to the level of elite Jonin. Immediately afterwards. Akamichi Choji, Yamanaka Ino, Lee Locke, Tenten, Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino. Hinata is not among them, he should be a medical ninja. And Sai, the one who succeeded him is the 7th class of ninjas. Konoha has 12 Shaoqiang, now the worst is comparable to Jonin's level. Sasuke was very puzzled, why all these little ghosts seem to have taken medicine. Why do they also become so strong? However, what Sasuke doesn't know is that the reason is simply because of Sasuke himself. Genin, who graduated in the same period, Sasuke is already strong enough to be called the most talented ninja. And how could they fall behind too much? So everyone stepped up training, and the speed of strength change was considered normal. Want to stop me? Sasuke smiled. Hearing this, several people glanced at each other. Ah yes. Shikamaru stood up and spoke. Do you think you can do it? Shikamaru shook his head, no. Our strength should not be able to stop you who can defeat even the 4 shadows. Then get out of the way. Sorry, we are Konoha's ninjas, and now we are also a member of the Ninja United Army. No matter what the reason is, we can't get out of the way. Gently sighed. It looks like it's just a matter of hands. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Sasuke doesn't want to waste time at all now. Raising his hand, a thunder burst out instantly, and only Neji among the crowd reacted immediately, pushing away Shikamaru and others beside him. At the same time, revolving heaven erupted directly. Boom. The collision of lightning style and revolving heaven erupted with an astonishing roar. It wasn't until they were pushed away that Shikamaru and others suddenly realized that Sasuke had already launched an attack. Such a quick movement, no seals at all, just releasing ninjutsu casually. What kind of skill is this? Good. Revolving heaven is much stronger, but that's all. Sasuke just snapped his fingers lightly. When Neji stopped in the next second, his feet had turned into a swamp. Earth style, Wankwanma. Neji couldn't move, raised his head and a shuriken had been shot straight at him. It shot very quickly between his eyebrows. Ding. Another shuriken blocked this one. However, Sasuke smiled and looked at Tianshin. The hidden weapon throwing technique is also much stronger, but hidden weapons are not just as simple as hidden weapons. Hiss. The sound of the detonator sounded. Neji froze for a moment, looking at the hidden weapon at his feet. Oops. Boom. Instant explosion. Neji was shrouded in the flames of the explosion and suffered heavy damage directly. Damn it. I'm going to hold him back, you guys hurry up. As Shao Li said, the 8 inner gates broke out directly, and it was directly open to the state of the 6th gate at one time. The green light on his body fits perfectly with Shao Li's current attire. Shao Li, whose speed and strength have been greatly improved, kicked towards Sasuke with a leaf hurricane. Sasuke took a step back and grabbed Shao Ji's waist with his backhand. The movement is not perfect enough. Slap directly with one palm. Before Shao Li had time to make the second move, he was directly slapped flying. Like an out-of-control kite, the body fell directly more than 10 meters away and was caught by other ninjas. It was just such a slight retreat, and then with a slap, the powerful Shao Li, or the Shao Li who had activated the 8 inner gates, was knocked into the air. Shikamaru's brow suddenly burst into cold sweat. Sasuke is getting more and more perverted. Shadow imitation technique. At the same time, Akamichi Choji, who cast expansion jutsu in the air, is using the meat, egg, chariot on Sasuke. Heart-turning technique. The Zu-Ludi trio attacked at the same time, although they did not cooperate with the attack, but attacking at the same time is not a way of cooperating with the attack. Sasuke smiled. He hooked his hand lightly, and a sand wall blocked the front. Shadow imitation cannot continue to be derived. At the same time, the sand swirling around Ino wrapped her directly. Heart-turn technique was cracked, and the Choji in the air was also caught by the sand, and directly hit the ground heavily. Breaking through the joint attack of the three, Sasuke raised his hand and instantly formed sharp 1,000 copies, which rained down on the three of them like raindrops. Turning his head, the moment Sai, who was preparing to perform super pseudo-beastization, made eye contact with Sasuke. Sai froze for a moment, and then his eyes lost their luster. No direct awareness. Sharingan illusion. An illusion second dropped Sai. At this moment, Tianshin looked at Kunai, who surrounded her in a whole circle, with detonating symbols floating on it. It's just that the detonating talisman has not been detonated, and the scroll in his hand slipped down weakly. Too strong. There is no way to fight back. Sitting on the ground, Tianshin looked at Sasuke walking slowly in front of him, and couldn't think of any fighting thoughts at all. Several people. Even Sasuke's 3 seconds can't stop. This gap is too big. At this moment, a pink figure stood in front of Sasuke. However, the moment Sasuke looked at the opponent's face, a powerful chakra wave broke out. But not in the front, but in the back. Directions by Kimimaro et al. Boom. There was a deafening roar, accompanied by a familiar voice. Super. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Boom boom boom. Like a meteorite falling, a huge meteorite crater formed by the bombardment was formed on the battlefield, visible to the naked eye. Sasuke sighed. Do we all have to come together at this time? Trouble. One hit, blasting right into the center of Sasuke's wood-style soldier unit. Needless to say, the destructive power of Chao, Shinra Tenjung, although Sasuke's wood-style soldiers are not weak. But in the face of this level of attack, only being crushed. 30,000 soldiers died almost instantly. Even the United Ninja Army was hit by waves to a certain extent, and hundreds of people were injured. Sasuke stood among the crowd of the United Ninja Army, staring at the direction of Kimimaro and others. They should have no problem if they suddenly suffered a Shenluo Tianzheng. But it shouldn't be able to stop the guy who comes out next. One hit of Super God Luo Tianzheng directly freed second Mizukage, who was previously sealed by Sasuke. Second Mizukage, who has reunited his body, is now roaring wildly to the sky. Damn. Damn Uchiha. I will tear you to pieces. The roar spread throughout the battlefield, and the ninjas of the United Ninja Army, especially the ninjas of Kirigakure, listened to this sound. Feel bad. They should be happy that their second Mizukage got out of trouble, but Yiping has nothing to be happy about either. Since a large number of wood-style soldiers were swept away in an instant, the vision of the ninjas could go directly through the empty pothole. Go straight to the other end and look at second Mizukage standing on the edge of the crater. Suddenly a black shadow descended from the sky. A black robe with a red cloud pattern. Dawn. Is there anyone else in the Akatsuki organization? There was the sound of paper rustling in the wind, and the ninjas looked up at the sky. Gazing at the gathering of papers in the sky, Conan, who spread his wings, suddenly appeared like an angel descending. All the ninjas were stunned for a moment. Angel? However, a closer look reveals that Conan's wings are formed by gathering pieces of paper, not real angels. But what kind of technique is this? Can manipulate paper unexpectedly. The pieces of paper lingering around Conan seem to be alive, like larks constantly spinning around her. Nagato, who landed, stood in the center of the huge pit, looking at the wood-style field soldiers on the edge. That's a lot. A super divine Luo Tianzheng only cleaned up a small part of it. There are so many wood-style soldiers out there. But the corners of Nagato's mouth turned up slightly. The current number of other people is just a useless number in front of him. Nagato feels Sasuke's chakra, and Sasuke surrounded by the Ninja United Army is as dazzling as fireflies at night. I'm coming. I'm here in person, Uchiha Sasuke, this time, can you beat me? A sneer appeared on Nagato's face as he spoke. Next second. Beep. Suddenly, there was a deafening roar at the edge. Accompanied by the sound of terrifying thunder raging, a large group of wood-style soldiers were easily harvested like straw. With just one blow, thousands of wood-style soldiers were killed. And in the thunder, the figure that slowly emerged made the ninja allied army who could see here suddenly choke. This is. If the ninjas in other villages feel uncertain, the ninjas in Cloud Shinobi Village are basically sure. The person who suddenly appeared and attacked Sasuke's soldiers used the technique. Lightning-style chakra mode from Cloud Shinobi Village. And it even seems to look tougher than 4th Raikage's lightning-style chakra mode. More. Darui looked at the figure with eyes that kept shaking. Is it possible? How come? Impossible. Is it impure world reincarnation again? Damn, even my Cloud Shinobis. ZZZ. HMPH. What are these things? There are so many of them. Forget it, it doesn't matter, the old man doesn't care about the quantity. The smoke slowly disappeared. Surrounded by wood-style soldiers, it was 3rd Raikage. A more intense lightning-style chakra surged from his body. Seeing this scene, the ninjas of the United Ninja Army held their breath at this moment. Compared with the 4th Raikage, the 3rd Raikage is even more legendary. He once dealt with 100,000 rock shinobi troops by himself, and finally died of exhaustion. And now, it was actually brought out by impure world reincarnation, and it reminds me of the ninja after impure world reincarnation, the pervert ability that can't kill. Doesn't that mean that this is now an unrestrained, terrifying beast? Brush, brush, brush. On the other side, the gold dust surged out of the sky, crushing a large number of wood-style soldiers in an instant. The 4th Kazekage, who stepped on the golden sand and folded his arms, was also reincarnation by impure world. 4th Kazekage, Master Luosha, the ninjas of Sand Shinobi exclaim. And it's not over yet. A white light instantly penetrated the large army of wood-style soldiers. Thousands of wooden golem soldiers were instantly wiped out, followed by 2nd Tsuchikage who slowly floated down from the air. 4 shadows. Impure world reincarnation 4 cages, Akatsuki organization. To actually do such a thing, abominable. Using the power of the dead is an unforgivable crime. However, for some reason, the ninjas of the Ninja United Army felt a lot more relaxed. Although the shadow of their village is dominated by Akatsuki, their main enemy is clearly Uchiha Sasuke. In this way, their pressure will be much, much less. Thinking of this, everyone was obviously relieved. Bandage man. You're resurrected too. The 2nd Mizukage below said that, and the 2nd Tsuchikage in the air was speechless. Look at you, you seem to have been beaten very badly. Speaking of this question, 2nd Mizukage's expression turned ugly. 4th Kazekage Luosha. What's the matter with this ninja configuration? Why are ninjas from various villages together for? Looking around at the strange wooden golem, what are these? There are so many. 3rd Raikage, it looks like. The Ninja World War broke out again, and this time the outbreak is obviously not small. The four shadows slowly gathered in one direction, not on their own initiative, but they were controlled to gather in one direction. This location is where Nagato is located. When sighing came behind Nagato, Nagato raised his head slowly, and a pair of Rinnegan's burst out with extremely powerful tail pressure. Opening his mouth, Nagato took a slow breath. The four shadows behind him are all looking at Nagato's back. And the next second, suddenly sighing froze for a moment. Because Nagato suddenly opened his mouth and growled wildly. Uchiha Sasuke, coming. At your request, I have come in person, and now. Bet on the name of Rinnegan, I, Uzumaki Nagato, will definitely beat you. A roar spread throughout the battlefield, and Sasuke, who was sighing, suddenly smiled. The surrounding Konoha 12 little powers were stunned for a moment. Uzumaki Nagato? Rinnegan? Who is this guy? Is there a Rinnegan too? You've only killed 6 guys with Rinnegan before, why another one now? Finally willing to show up, Nagato, said. Sasuke smiled and looked back at little Sakura. At that moment just now, she wanted to attack herself. But it was a pity that it was interrupted by the sudden Shenluo Tianzhong. But Sasuke was not surprised by the little Sakura attacking himself, but the blow just now, although it didn't explode. But Sasuke felt the familiar chakra wave, which was Tsunade's strange force punch. It seems that the little Sakura has learned Tsunade's strange power boxing, and seems to have worshipped the people as his teacher. But now Sasuke has no time to say hello to little Sakura. Glanced in Naruto's direction. It seems that these people need to be dealt with first, and then go to Naruto. Otherwise, there are always people standing in the way, and Sasuke can't let go. Swish. In an instant, Sasuke's figure disappeared. At this time, little Sakura wanted to say something, but it was too late. Sasuke is gone. No one can stop Sasuke from leaving, and with his extremely fast speed, the ninjas of the United Ninja Army are powerless to stop him. Shikamaru and others take a look at little Sakura. Little Sakura? Aren't you in charge of Si Ying's treatment? Why did you come here? Hearing this, Sakura smiled helplessly. With my medical skills, I still can't save sighing. Now, I don't need to do anything anymore. Unuseful. What's the meaning? However, Xiao Sakura didn't intend to continue talking, but rushed towards the front of the Ninja United Army. She wanted to see Sasuke's battle, and see with her own eyes how strong Sasuke is now. With her now stronger power, is there any hope of bringing Sasuke back to Konoha? Shikamaru and others hurriedly followed. At this moment, in front of the United Ninja Army, there is a huge pothole, but this pothole is much smaller than the trace left by the one that destroyed Konoha in the original book. After all, Nagato's goal was to kill Sasuke's wood-style soldiers. It doesn't need a strong impact, but it needs to expand the range of the attack as much as possible. So the depth of the pothole is only about 10 meters. It looks like a huge dish. People from the surrounding Ninja United Army stood on the right edge of the pothole, and on the other side were surrounded by Sasuke's wooden golem troops. There are still a lot of these wooden golems left, but compared with today's Ninja United Army, they are too few. Simply not enough to watch. But compared to the White Zetsu troops who only had a few thousand people left, it was much more. Nagato stood in the center of the pothole, with 4 shadows behind him. The liberated Deidara and Scorpion are completely ineligible to participate in this battle. You can only guard the remaining White Zetsu troops and watch from the edge. Plop. Sasuke, who suddenly fell from the sky, landed directly in the center of the pothole. Accompanied by the surging dust, Sasuke slowly walked towards Nagato. It came to a position less than 20 meters away from Nagato and stopped slowly. Look up at Nagato. Come out at this time is not the best choice. Originally in this form, the best choice is naturally the mantis catching the cicada, and the oriole is behind. Nagato ran out again when Sasuke had finished almost all the members of the United Ninja Army and was exhausted himself. Then dealing with Sasuke is the most correct way to do it. However, Nagato smiled. My own enemies can be dealt with by myself, I don't need help from others. Saying that, Nagato pointed at Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, you are the last wall standing in my way to build a peaceful world. Just break you and I can build a truly peaceful world. Hearing Nagato's words, Sasuke wanted to laugh a little. What is this guy trying to do? Talking about building a truly peaceful world is nothing but a pawn being used by others. Then it seems that your world cannot be established. Hearing this, Nagato's face suddenly darkened. No. I don't think so. You are strong, but not invincible. Raise your hand. The 4 shadows slowly came out from behind. I am now gathering all the abilities of 6 Paz Pain, and at the same time, I have the assistance of these 4 powerful shadows in the history of the ninja world. It's only a matter of time to defeat you. Sasuke smiled faintly, just relying on these dead people. They have long been abandoned by the times. You seem to think that the ninjas of the new era are not as good as those who have been buried in the years. Is it? Hey, boy, who are you? Third Raikage frowned. Look at this posture. The reason why we can be resurrected is to deal with you. Is it worth mobilizing so many people to revive so many of us for a brat? Apparently Third Raikage didn't think Sasuke was a threat. No matter how you look at it, Sasuke's age is too young. At this age, even if he is strong, he can't go anywhere. However, at this time second Mizukage spoke. Raikage, don't underestimate this kid. This kid is simply a monster among monsters. At all. Before he finished speaking, Raikage and Shadowbeard took over. Raikage looked disdainful. Lightning-style chakra mode instantly turned on. Strong? Monster. No one is qualified to call himself a monster in front of this old man. The speed of Raikage, who instantly turned into lightning and rushed straight towards Sasuke, was much faster than his son Fourth Raikage. As expected of the man known as the strongest shield and the strongest spear. At the same time, second Tsuchikage wanted to hit second Mizukage in the face, so he directly used the dust escape to disintegrate his body, turning it into a white light, which instantly condensed behind Sasuke. Boy, you seem to have beaten second Mizukage hard, and you don't seem to think there is anything strong about it. You said that we are people buried in the long river of time. Then let you take a look now. The strength of the seniors is incomparable to you little ghosts of the younger generation. The light of Chen Dun burst out, one in front and one in back. The third Raikage in front swung his fist like a heavy hammer and slammed Sasuke on the forehead. However, at this moment, the corners of Sasuke's mouth rose slightly. You have long been old-fashioned characters, and now this battlefield is not your home field. While Sasuke was talking, he raised his left hand and made a simple seal movement, but no matter how you look at it, the movement of this seal is quite slow. It should be too late to release some ninjutsu. It can be next second. Shadow mimicry. Congratulations to host, the level of shadow imitation has been improved, small success. In an instant, the shadow that diffused from Sasuke's feet directly fixed the two shadows. One technique can hold two cage-level ninjas. Shikamaru, who happened to see this scene, was taken aback suddenly. How could this guy know the secret technique Zu of my Nara clan? And more importantly, Sasuke's shadow imitation technique can easily fix the two shadows at once. This is even scarier than my own shadow imitation technique. Just as shocking as Shikamaru is the ninja of the Nara family in the combined army. Their eyes on Sasuke became completely dull. When? Uchiha Sasuke, stealing the secrets of their Nara clan? This technique. It doesn't exist in the Book of Seals, after all, it is a family's secret technique. At the same time, there is also the Nara family, a family that is absolutely loyal to Konoha, and their secret techniques are not recorded in the Book of Seals. The reason why Sasuke can use it is just because he was sleepy when he glanced at the pill just now. Plus I've seen it many times before. It is not difficult for Sasuke to master this technique and quickly advance to the stage of Shaocheng. And at this moment, the two shadows were fixed by Sasuke with the shadow restraint technique. Both Raikage and Tsuchikage. He stared at Sasuke with wide eyes as if he had seen a ghost. Shadow binding. How is it possible? This old man is Raikage. How can this kind of technique be able to hold this old man? The shadow binding technique is not unique now, but has existed for a long time. So third Raikage also knows, but the problem is that the shadow binding technique cannot have such power. Otherwise, the Nara clan is not just a small family of Konoha, but has occupied the position of Konoha Hokage. For the same technique, in the hands of different people, the explosive power is naturally different. Sasuke looked very flatly at third Raikage. I've said it all. You are all people from the previous era, and the stage of this era does not belong to you. Raising his hand behind Sasuke, the snake of chakra bit at the two of them in an instant. Bang bang. Tsuchikage Wu's head was pierced instantly, and the movie has lightning-style chakra mode's defense, so he was not injured, but even if he was injured, it didn't matter to him. After all, it is the body of impure world reincarnation, and it can be restored even if it falls down. Ha ha ha. Bandage man, now you know, the horror of this kid. If you are still alive, you will be killed by now. The voice of second Mizukage's ridicule sounded, and at this time, the body of fourth Kazekage Luosha had already jumped into the air stepping on the gold dust. Without any movement, the surrounding gold dust rolled up like an avalanche. It swept towards Sasuke crazily, and at the same time, it didn't take into account the problems of third Raikage and second Tsuchikage. It seems that they planned to attack the two together. Sasuke frowned, although shadow binding has its own chakra blessing. The power is amazing, but there are also problems. When performing this technique, there are also great restrictions on Sasuke. He raised his hand and punched Raikage instantly. In Raikage's eyes, Sasuke's move was unremarkable. This punch hits his lightning-style chakra mode, and the rebound is strong enough to get Sasuke himself out. It's just looking for death. However, in the next second, a fist landed on his chest. Moment. A terrifying power erupted like Mount Tai pressing down on the top, and the light of the lightning-style chakra mode became much dimmer in an instant. Movie's eyes are full of surprise. Sasuke in the Sage transformation state, using the strange power fist. The power is not at the same level as the normal state of the strange power fist. Beep. Raikage's body was blasted out instantly, and his whole body was ejected towards Nagato like a cannonball. Breaking through the gold dust in the next second, the speed still did not decrease at all. Nagato frowned. Bounced the third Raikage away with repulsive force directly, like an inconspicuous garbage. As for the alluvial gold channel that was broken through by the fourth Raikage, a bolt of thunder flashed out instantly. Sasuke's figure appeared outside the placer gold, and the slowly recovering second Tsuchikage disappeared, but was wrapped in placer gold. Crushed to pieces again. Luo Sha frowned and his expression became very serious. What a speed! This ninja of the Uchiha clan is very strong. If he encountered such an enemy while he was alive, he really didn't know if he could beat it. You are too annoying, please disappear for a while. Sasuke's voice sounded, Luo Sha's eyes widened, and he turned around suddenly. Behind him, the black stick in Sasuke's hand pierced his neck straightly, and after Luo Sha took a breath, the black stick in Sasuke's hand almost pierced his whole body. Then with a light kick, Luo Sha was kicked out of the air. The hearts of the Sand Shinobi who witnessed this scene twitched slightly. It killed the previous generation of Kazekage-sama so easily. The flash of black light flashed by, the speed was so fast that people's eyes couldn't catch up. In the next second, Sasuke had come to Nagato and stood 5 meters away. And this time second Mizukage raised his hand. Water iron cannon technique, bang bang. With 2 shots, 2 drops of water with astonishing impact were shot directly. Sasuke pulled out the Kusanagi sword in an instant, and easily blocked the 2 jets of water with the sharp blade half out of its sheath. Mizukage still wanted to continue attacking, but the next second the sand rolled up directly, accompanied by the sealed rune, and controlled second Mizukage again. Although he can be oiled to get out of trouble, it will take a little time. Sasuke stared at Nagato blankly. These wastes are not enough to stop me. They are your cards? Waste? Although these 2 words were not loud, they spread slowly over the entire battlefield. Countless ninjas have weird expressions at this moment. This is a shadow. He used to be a well-known shadow in the ninja world. Although it seems that they face Uchiha Sasuke, they have absolutely no power to fight back. It seems that there is no difference between them and trash, but are they not strong? Of course not. Even if the 4 shadows are placed now, they can still be called top powerhouses. The reason why it looks weak is only because of Uchiha Sasuke. Try another ninja? Then the result may be reversed and easily killed by the 4. Si Ying's body is recovering, and she feels extremely angry when she hears Sasuke's words. But there is no way. Sasuke beat them lightly. If they were still alive, they should be dead by now. In this case, there is no way to refute Sasuke's claim. Nagato looked at Sasuke and suddenly smiled. I rely on them. No, of course not. Their only role is to help me delay you a little bit. Although it's useless, you should still be able to delay a little bit. When I fight with you, I will only rely on my own strength. After speaking, Nagato raised his hand, universal pull. In an instant, the bodies of the 4 shadows quickly moved towards Nagato. Even second Mizukage, which was sealed by magnet style, was directly pulled over. Although he died again, relying on the body of Impure World reincarnation, he will be able to recover soon. In the blink of an eye, success was restored again. The 4 of them came around Nagato again now, looking at Sasuke without the slightest arrogance. It's full of fear. Speaking of which, I still have to thank you. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid I'd be dead by now. Thank you, Sasuke. Although Nagato's voice was not loud, it was heard by the ninjas of the combined army. This is even more confusing. Uchiha Sasuke saved him. Then why are the 2 now in such a relationship? It's obviously a life and death look. To be honest, it's been a long time since I've really fought with anyone. But I believe in my strength. Nagato raised his head. The chakra on his body didn't erupt at this moment, but suddenly seemed to be completely contained in his body. Just the next second, Nagato suddenly appeared in front of Sasuke. Body flicker technique. Nagato is also an out-and-out genius, and he has learned a lot in ninjutsu. Otherwise, it would not have developed such a weird perception-shaped ninjutsu as the Yuhu Zizai technique. As for the speed at which the body flicker technique broke out, even Sasuke was surprised. This kind of instant body is not something that ordinary ninjas can use. But, in terms of speed alone, is there anyone in the entire ninja world who is his opponent? Electric light. Stone fire. Swish. Sasuke, who instantly turned on the speed mode, suddenly had a thunderbolt on his body, and there was no sign before. Like a sudden moment. When the rapidity is on, especially in the state of sage transformation. Sasuke is completely different, for him even Nagato's instant body is very good. It is still the same as in a static state. Beep. Punch. Sasuke's fist exploded directly on Nagato's chest. But almost at the same time, Shenlue Ocean was erupting. Nagato's body formed a transparent defensive cover, and Sasuke's attack bombarded Shenlue Tianjung, although Shaw's burst. Sasuke is stronger than Nagato. But the fists weakened by Shenlue Tianjung were not enough to kill Nagato. Nagato's body flew upside down, turned a few times in the air quickly, and then landed steadily. Nagato, who landed, looked up at Sasuke. Sure enough, fighting with you in close quarters is courting death. Nagato covered his shoulders and coughed lightly a few times, his face was also slightly pale. Nagato, are you okay? Konan quickly came to Nagato's side. However, Nagato waved his hand, it's okay. Most of the power is blocked by Shinra Tensei. He actually broke the Shenlue Tianjung in an instant. Konan was surprised, but Nagato didn't care, I'm still slow in reacting for a moment. No matter what the speed is, in terms of reaction speed, this guy is the strongest in the ninja world. Thinking of this, Nagato decided to change his tactics a little. Head-to-head is obviously not enough. Konan, back off. Saying that, Nagato backed away quickly, and sighing looked at Nagato in some surprise. Also now they also see Nagato's Rinnegan. Second Mizukage was okay, after all, he had already seen Six Paths Pain, but the other three looked shocked. Forget about that Uchiha kid, why is this guy so weird? His eyes must be Rinnegan. How did the rumored eyes of Sage of Six Paths suddenly appear? The three of them were very puzzled, but they didn't have much time to think. In the next second, the bodies of the four began to attack Sasuke again uncontrollably. This time their actions cooperated with each other a lot. Sasuke frowned, logically this shouldn't happen. Unless the guy controlling the four is right there. But there is no Yakushi Kabuto's chakra fluctuation at all. The new chakra fluctuations are nothing more than Tsunade's chakra fluctuations. Tsunade's position is in the rear of the Ninja United Army. It seems that sighing is being treated now. It is not a miracle that Tsunade can suddenly appear on the battlefield. There is only one way to reach here from Konoha in an instant. That is Flying Thunder God technique. And Tsunade obviously doesn't, but Konoha has the Flying Thunder God array. It is not difficult to send a Tsunade over. At this moment, it is the medical station of the Ninja United Army. Tsunade looked at the four people who had awakened. Although they were seriously injured, they were not fatal. It is not difficult to make them wake up. When the four wake up and see Tsunade in front of them, they know that their plan has failed. Fourth Raikage didn't speak, just clenched his fist silently. Is there really no way to defeat Uchiha Sasuke? And now Tsunade looked at Raikage and sighed helplessly. Not to mention defeating Uchiha Sasuke, even Konoha is in danger now facing the sudden appearance of the White Zetsu army. Originally, Tsunade should not have left the village at this time. Although Nine Tails is not there, Konoha cannot be easily destroyed. But the problem is that she has to come over due to Seeing's situation. Sasuke is too powerful to be defeated by you alone. Although the atmosphere in the camp at the moment was not good, Tsunade could only speak first to break the calm. Gaara frowned, but even so, I still have to keep trying. Sasuke's threat is far greater than the Akatsuki organization. Whatever the purpose, it is impossible for Sasuke and the five powers to coexist peacefully. An uncontrolled nuclear weapon, even if the other party promises never to launch it, who will feel at ease? If you really want to give it a try, I have a plan. Tsunade spoke suddenly. Hearing this, the four of them were stunned for a moment. Among the five shadows, Tsunade is the one who is most acceptable to Sasuke, and even once thought that Sasuke was not dangerous. However, now he took the initiative to say that there is a way. The four of them couldn't help but start to wonder what Tsunade's real purpose was. However, Tsunade seemed to guess what they were thinking. He opened his mouth and said directly, the only way now is to use a technique, and you should have seen this technique before. Surgery. One spell can deal with Uchiha Sasuke. Have they seen it yet? What kind of surgery? No need to ask, Tsunade gave the answer directly in Impure World Reincarnation. Impure World Reincarnation. The four looked at each other and couldn't understand what Tsunade meant. In this war, the Akatsuki organization is using the power of Impure World Reincarnation to enhance their combat effectiveness. Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke's big brother, told me that the Akatsuki organization is likely to reincarnate more powerful people who have died. We can use this power. Use. How to use? Is there any ninja who knows this forbidden technique in Konoha? Onoki asked quickly. However, Tsunade shook his head regretfully. Sorry, we do not allow Konoha shinobi practitioners to learn such a forbidden technique. Since you don't learn it, why keep it? It's better to just destroy it. Fourth Raikage grumbled. Now is not the time to discuss this issue, Tsunade said directly. Itachi also told me that he secretly contacted Orochimaru and got some information. Although in the beginning, his main purpose was to find out what Sasuke wanted to do. But I accidentally found out that Orochimaru's former subordinate, Yakushi Kabuto, was the man who left Orochimaru and joined Akatsuki after mastering Orochimaru's power. He is the one who casts Impure World Reincarnation to control the ninja battle. Hearing this, the four of them also started to feel refreshed. Terumi Mei. So what are you going to do? Tsunade smiled. Control Yakushi Kabuto. Let him be the ninja of Impure World Reincarnation, for us to use. With this power, maybe we can defeat Sasuke. Corpse. Is it possible to defeat Sasuke just by controlling this person? Fourth Raikage is skeptical. At this time, Tsunade turned his head and looked at Fourth Raikage very seriously. Orochimaru collected the cells of the previous generations of Kage, and in accordance with the request of Impure World Reincarnation, signed these cells. It even includes your father, the cell of Third Raikage. In other words, it is very likely that Impure World Reincarnation will your father join this battle. Hearing this, Fourth Raikage was stunned. However, before he could open his mouth, the ninja outside came to report. Master Tsunade, it's not good, the Akatsuki organization has appeared again, and Ki is also a ninja with Rinnegan. Also with the late Impure World Reincarnation ninja, Raikage 2nd Generation King 4th Kazekage. Having said that, both 4th Raikage and Gaara were startled. Truly. By Impure World Reincarnation, and 3rd Raikage and 4th Kazekage happened to be their fathers. Damn Akatsuki organization. Gaara did it directly, regardless of the wounds on his body that hadn't completely healed. Tsunade frowned. Lie down. What can you do even if you were out now? Hearing that Gaara is much calmer, after all, he is a young ninja. Raikage, who has always been irritable, looks very calm now. Instead, he was seriously thinking about what Tsunade said earlier. Can it be controlled? Fourth Raikage asked. Tsunade nodded. No problem. Itachi assures me, as long as he can find the pocket, then he is sure, control the pocket. Is that so? Where is that bag? Even Tsunade doesn't know this question. She shook her head. I don't know, but Itachi has already set off. As long as there are no accidents, he should be able to find it. Third Tsuchikage seemed a little dissatisfied, as he had put all his hopes on one person. It's so easy for accidents to happen. However, there seems to be no other way now. Their top priority is to recover as soon as possible. The sooner they recover their fighting power, at least they can do something. In this camp, even if you want to do something, there is absolutely no way. Tsunade turned to look towards the center of the battlefield. At this moment, Sasuke is fighting these shadows. I don't know how the battle is going. What worried Tsunade even more, however, was something else that she didn't even dare to say directly. Once she said it, she was afraid that sighing would immediately despair. The center of the battlefield. Sasuke looked at the four shadows surrounding him. The chakra on his body surged slowly, and Sasuke's eyes drifted into the distance. There was a smile on Nagato's face at the moment. At the same time, an astonishing fluctuation began to brew in his body. The reddish chakra light bursts out. Moment. Raikage, who was about to make a shot, suddenly turned his head, and his peripheral vision was fixed on Nagato's direction. In the state of being controlled, the only part he can move according to his own will is the head. Watch as Nagato bursts into Tailed Beast Chakra. Feeling this very familiar chakra wave at the same time. Third Raikage's pupils shrank rapidly. This is 8 Tails. Why 8 Tails? 8 Tails Jinchuriki is this guy? What are the people of Cloud Shinobi Village doing? What happened to my son? Anger surged in Third Raikage's heart instantly, but Sasuke is the only one who can attack now. Lightning-style chakra mode is directly full of vitality. Hellspike, a penetrating hand, hit all the chakra directly to the fingertips, forming a powerful attack. This is why the third Raikage is called the strongest spear. However, when he shot, it was too late to make any reaction. A black thunder flashed, and Sasuke appeared directly in front of him, and his body flew into the air, drawing toward his neck. Beep. Kick. Let third Raikage hit the ground directly with his whole body. Sasuke took advantage of the situation and kicked hard, the strange power exploded, and the ground burst open in an instant. A black stick shot out from the palm, directly nailing third Raikage to the ground. HMPH. The strongest spear. The ninja world is no longer your era. In this era, your speed is too slow. What's the use of a strong spear if you can't even hit the enemy with an attack? Uchiha Kid, you are too proud. Even though we are people from the previous era, as a shadow, your strength is not something you can ignore at will. Speaking of Luosha in the air, he directly controlled a large amount of placer gold, blocking all of Sasuke's movement paths almost instantly. As for Sora Zhang or Dai Tsuchikage Wu and second Mizukage, both release attacks at the same time. Water Style, Water Iron Cannon Technique, Dust Escape, Original Realm Stripping Technique. In an instant, two attacks, one in front and one in the back, restricted Sasuke's movement, and at the same time, even the sky above was closed to Sasuke. However, in the face of the joint attack of the three, such a tacit cooperation. Sasuke frowned. The body instantly dissipated, boom. The roar of the explosion sounded, and Sasuke's figure showed no sign of escaping from it. The faces of the three became much more relaxed. With the combined forces of the three shadows, this arrogant brat finally had nowhere to escape. Even if it's a shadow, it's not much different from an ordinary ninja to me. Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded. There are three Sasukes that appear at the same time. Second Mizukage, looking at Sasuke who was close at hand, swallowed silently. Beep. It fell directly with a punch. The second Tsuchikage on the other side looked at the second Tsuchikage who was also emitting white light in his hand. Also directly shrouded by dust escape. Don't think that you are the only one who has mastered the elimination of blood successors. Sasuke's dust escape erupted, which directly stunned second Tsuchikage. It's okay to say secret technique, it is indeed a bed that can be learned. As long as the method of cultivation is passed on to the outside world, it will definitely be learned, but Shueiji is eliminated, how could he also master it? How did this guy master Dust Dungeon? The direction of Luo Sha. Sasuke punched with violent heat, directly and instantly broke through the gold dust's defense, heat swept across, and the aftermath alone destroyed most of Luo Sha's body. Three shadows fell to the ground again. At this moment, Sasuke who made three shots directly disappeared into a cloud of white smoke. Doppelganger. Shadow Clone. The faces of the ninjas flashed with horror, just relying on Shadow Clone. And 3 Shadow Clone. Where is the main body of Sasuke? Beep. Sasuke, who suddenly kicked down from the sky accompanied by Black Thunder, directly kicked Nagato, who had activated the tailed beast chakra mode, directly into the ground. With his hands above his head, Nagato, who was attacking in front of Sasuke, gritted his teeth and stared at the attack. Although the ground collapsed directly, he was not injured. The power of the tailed beast chakra has given him a lot of boosts. Unload Sasuke's power, and the next second the black stick strikes, accompanied by the red chakra. The black stick in Nagato's hand stabbed straight at Sasuke. Sasuke raised his hand and also condensed black sticks, facing each other. The collision of the black sticks suddenly erupted into shocking ripples. The roaring sound swept in all directions. The terrifying chakra Uzumaki on Sasuke crazily suppressed Nagato, and Nagato, relying on the tailbeast chakra, unexpectedly maintained a balance with Sasuke for a while. Not completely suppressed. The corners of Sasuke's mouth rose slightly. Not bad. The tailed beast chakra that erupted from the main body seems to be stronger. Without the transmission link, there will be no loss of power. This is the pinnacle Nagato.